It goes into the corner and now back behind the net.
This possession is going to be tough for Waterford because in the transition of the turnover, they got two of their offensive midfielders stuck out there. So both Bowdish and Jacobson are marking up middies for East Lyme, and you know that sort of wears you out in the first quarter. You really sort of want to avoid that.
With the ball now is Swenson. Swenson makes a run, middle of the field, in front, shot, and a goal! Alex Jakubczak for East Lyme puts them back on top 3-2 in this roller coaster first. Vikings up 3-2 with 4:07 remaining.
You know what? And that's what I was alluding to. The slide was late for Waterford. The ball got in deep, and looks like the midfielders and the poles for Waterford were all sort of a little bit conservative on who was the go.
Sports Doctor, you see hearing a little bit down there on the sidelines. East Lyme coaches, what are they saying down there on the sidelines?
Oh, East Lyme coaches, Casey, every time Bowdish gets the ball and makes a run off that left side, they're screaming constantly, lefty, lefty, trying to take the scoring angle away from that young man. The coaches are aware of it, trying to make the players aware of it as well. Sometimes
easier said than done. You know, he's good at what he does. And, you know, if they don't hedge him all the way off the left hand, then he's probably going to keep going down that alley.
Well, you know, it's funny to put another sport on the table. They joke all the time that James Harden will, you know, he's going left. Everyone knows he's going left. He tells you he's going left. They defend him to make him not go left, and he still can get left on virtually anybody. At some point, you know, a scorer knows how to score, and Bowdish knows his angles, and if you give him a, you know, you overplay it all you want, he finds a way to put himself into scoring positions. Face off this time in the East Lyme zone, controlled by the Vikings. That's Belandis. Belandis up top to Hart. Hart with a run in the seam. Shot wide, and it'll a hustle, but it'll stay East Lyme ball. Alloway tried to get out of the net in time to make it a Waterford ball, but instead the Vikings were able to control.
And that's the first face-off we've seen Hart take. And he got a clean win there versus Wade, which was the first time any of the face-offs have been won clean.
Yeah, Wade has been such a dominant force on face-offs for his career here at Waterford. Belandis. Now it goes back behind the net to Swenson. In front, Belandis again now right at the 20 mark. He gets a screen. Switches back to his left, throws it in front. Nice contact there in front by Close to dislodge the ball. And Alloway makes the save for Waterford, and they will head in transition. There's a turnover by Waterford, and a flag goes up in the air, and let's find out what the official says. Sports Doctor, let's see if we can get the official's word on what the penalty is.
Casey, East Lyme, illegal body check on number 19. Things get a little chippy and a little physical down here. As expected, coach, in a championship-style game.
You know, we played in one a couple of weeks ago, and the other coach just kept saying, let the boys play to the referees. And a lot of times that's the tempo of a championship game is to let it go.
You like that physical play, coach, in a championship setting?
I think as long as if it's rough and tumble and clean, I'm good. I think if the referees keep it in check and it's rough and tumble and clean, then that's the nature of the sport, and we can all live with it.
Waterford with the possession, trying to tie the game up at 3. They're down 1 with 2:42 remaining here in the first period from East Lyme. Holdridge being banged by the long stick of East Lyme. Now into the slot it goes. Lafort in front, and a turnover. Ball loose, picked up by Waterford. That's Jacobson. And we're going to get another flag on the play.
So you had a hold there on 9. And Waterford was fortunate to get the ball back, but now Bowdish is going to try to work to get his stick top side.
There's a rip and wide by Bowdish, and now we'll see the penalty on East Lyme enforced after Waterford loses possession.
So East Lyme's doing a nice job there in their man down. They were locking off the crease and rotating very fast with the 4 poles, and the kids all have good feet. And I guess, you know, right there, Walter just got caught hooking Jacobson on the loose ball.
Slashing penalty on number 9 for East Lyme. And again, things a little chippy, but I like that. I think that's the way East Lyme wants to play. Take the space away from the Waterford players, Coach.
Well, you got to make them earn it, and they certainly are. And Waterford has not had that many direct shots. A lot of the shots, the goalie's been fronted up, and haven't really had any really good step downs. This just went from a 6v4. The first penalty just got released into a 6v5, and Holdridge just misses.
Right in front, Holdridge with a point-blank nice look that time, but a save by Brodeur. But Waterford will obtain possession right now with Bowdish and Huda, Jacobson, the Laforts, and Holdridge out there. The scoring 6 for Waterford. Bowdish, Holdridge goes high and hits the post right. Oh, another point-blank look by Caleb Holdridge, and that shot had some mustard on it.
It sure did. He's a little steep. He could get a little better angle if he takes one more step a little higher, but other than that, he's doing a nice job changing his angles low to high.
Lafort now, Bowdish, inside Holdridge. Back behind the net, it goes to Mason Lafort. To Michael Lafort, and cross. Holdridge with a look, makes a run, he shoots, and he hits the post again, and another flag comes down, and Gary White is incensed on the East Lyme sideline.
I think you're going to get an illegal body check on 14.
That's Angiolelli, the senior defenseman for East Lyme.
Yeah, cross-check Casey on number 14, 1 minute. And you're right, Casey. Gary White is hot down here in the sidelines.
Yeah, that's 4 consecutive penalties for physicality on East Lyme. And now Waterford looks to take advantage. Behind the net, Lafort to Michael Lafort. Now rotating around, Bowdish. Then they get it again. Holdridge, and he scores! And, Brodeur wanted that one. It went right past his stick. High right side of the net, and a goal by the guy who does it better than anybody on Waterford, Caleb Holdridge, and we're tied at 3 with a minute remaining here in the first period.
Caleb, Holdridge didn't have much space to put that in. He beat the goalie stick side high, and the goalie made a nice job. He's working that pipe real good, trying to make Holdridge shoot far pipe, and Caleb just snuck it past him.
Hey, Coach, Holdridge has been ringing the bell the last 3 or 4 shots, and finally one found in the back of the net, and that's what you like to see out of a kid like that. Keep working, and one of them's going to fall.
Well, they've all been good shots. He's been clean to shoot, and that was the first time he was just maybe a yard or 2 higher and just changed his angle a little bit just to get a little more of the cage exposed to the ball.
Wade wins the face-off by Waterford. Under a minute remaining here in the first period, tied at 3. Lafort in front, nice pass, broken up, loose. Who's going to come out with it? Going to be controlled, trying by Huda. He's on the ball, and Huda will have it for Waterford. 35 seconds remaining here. Waterford looking to go on top at the end of the first period. Bowdish has it in front. Defended by Belandi. Bowdish rips, and a beautiful save by Brodeur.
So Brodeur tracked that well. That shot was very direct. It was high to high, and Brodeur had a good look at it. So I don't think that challenge in there on that shot at that stage, Waterford probably wants to get touches a little more.
Schaffner went all the way down the field and ripped the shot off with 9.5 seconds remaining. And it will be East Lyme ball behind the net. They have one last opportunity for a shot. Waterford maintaining contact. Scrum, ball up, loose. Who's going to get it? Still loose. And we are now at the end of the first period. A lot of action there, Coach, in front of the net. Waterford fortunate that nothing got a bad bounce, and at the end of one period, we are tied at 3.
I tell you, the ball was up in the air for about 20 seconds, and in that time and space, Waterford's lucky James McCoy at 6'3" or 4" didn't just reach his hand up to 10 feet and grab it.
Those moments like that at the end of the period always terrify me when I'm watching any hockey, lacrosse, soccer. It's those last seconds right before you get to that sort of end of a period. Things get loose, things get a little hectic, and that one breakdown, and that time the ball bouncing around like that, and you're right, you're just waiting for somebody to grab it and get a shot off. But 3-3 at the end of the first period. Your thoughts on what we saw here in the first period between these two teams?
So far, excellent lacrosse. Ball's getting up and down. Not a lot of transition in terms of shots off of odd man breaks. Waterford's been pretty patient and have worked their way to get some good shots. East Lyme has scored on the very few shots they've taken. So they have not had as many settled sets.
East Lyme's got to be happy with the efficiency of their offense and the play of their keeper. I think Brodeur has played very well, very solid in the first. But at the same time, is Waterford happy with the amount of opportunities they've been getting? Are these the kind of shots Waterford is hoping to have?
I think right now both coaches are telling their teams they're getting sort of done exactly what they wanted, and to be basically 0-0 after 12 minutes, a lot of lacrosse left, and there's a lot of adjustments to be made. I think moving forward, this is where to me it gets interesting because right now it's a draw, and something's going to have to give or some small strategy unhitched to sort of move the needle.
Sports Doctor, what are you thinking?
Yeah, the message in the huddle, Casey, for Waterford, and Coach, you might agree with this, is, don't force it. We got caught out of position a few times. We had the wrong people out there, the wrong personnel, and we just got caught a little bit off guard on a defensive end. As far as offensively goes for the Lancers, keep pushing. Some of these shots are going to go in. So keep working and don't force the issue if you don't have the numbers on the defensive end.
To this point, both teams have had offensive midfielders stuck on defense. On the last set for Waterford, Belandis was stuck out there, and I didn't know that he was so much of a two-way midi as much as an O midi. So to this point, that's sort of odd that they've both had teams or kids stuck in spaces that they don't want them.
Well, the mismatches that the teams are looking for and the mismatches they end up with often dictate the opportunities that they get. And so far, I think both teams have worked for those mismatches. But like you said, Coach, you never know what you're going to get stuck with. Players are going to have to, get themselves out of uncomfortable situations. Luther Wade wins the face-off for Waterford, who are now going right to left, and we're going to get a flag. That's going to be against East Lyme. Waterford in the offensive zone, though, in control, so they'll get to run this out. And they're going to try to get Wade off the field and get Bowdish in, and they successfully do that as Lafort will hold back behind the net. Now he makes a run. He's going to look for a cutting Jacobson. Jacobson drifts, looking for the ball, and he gets it.
So Waterford has a free shot now because they have a delayed penalty on. So we'll see if they're real patient and working really hard to get a shot at the doorstep.
Mason Lafort, Michael Lafort, Jacobson, Huda, and Holdridge. The big scoring group for Waterford. 3-3 here in the second period. 11 minutes remaining in the ECC Lacrosse Championship. Boys Lacrosse, Waterford, and East Lyme.
So already an interesting adjustment by Gary White. He put Norwegian on the wing as a long stick midi, and he drew Bowdish. So they've already made that switch to maybe shut off that alley for Bowdish.
Yeah, we saw them do that last year. They put Norwegian on Bowdish last year for portions of the game as well. I think they like his speed and size in that matchup. The penalty, of course, against East Lyme. Sports Doctor, what do you got?
Yeah, number 25, 1 minute for slashing, Casey. Yet another East Lyme penalty. Let's see if the Lancers can capitalize.
That penalty was on Norwegian, his second penalty of the game, so his physical style has gotten him sidelined a couple times here. Waterford will try to take advantage of the opportunity.
At 3-3, though, East Lyme hasn't really paid at this stage for any of these penalties.
That's a very good point, Coach. We are at a neutral ball game right now. Bowdish, Jacobson, Lafort. Lafort thought about it, instead dumps it behind the net to his brother Mason. In front, Holdridge rips and scores! Caleb Holdridge beats Brodeur, and for the first time in the ball game, Waterford has a lead 4-3 with 10:28 remaining here in period number 2.
So even there, a nice adjustment by Coach Landry in the man up. They placed Mason Lafort behind and swung Michael to the wing and got a little different ball rotation this time to get Holdridge to stick free.
We were looking at the statistics of Waterford before the game, and I think they're fascinating. You've got 47 goals and 51 assists from Holdridge, which is a remarkable number of points, but very, very balanced. After that, a lot of goal scorers with Michael Lafort at 24 and Jacobson and Huda at 25 and 26, Bowdish at 32, and even Mason Lafort at 17. But 41 assists for Michael Lafort and 51 for Holdridge. So all the offense going through those two players. We have a timeout on the field. 4-3 Waterford with 10:18 remaining. And we were talking about the ratio of assists to scoring. And Waterford is really in what good lacrosse looks like, right? About 60% of the scoring coming on assisted goals.
Yeah, the style has swung to head-up dodge, draw two, and dunks, and it really is sort of playing to the strength of Jacobson and Huda, as they really have a lot of IQ inside, and they are good in small spaces. So I think it's gone hand in hand, and Bowdish has kept up his scoring prowess. He's from a little further out. He's generally way above the cage, and Holdridge and Michael Lafort are generally hovering below and are sort of like a basketball point guard. Dribble, drive, and dish out to the edge for your three-point shooter.
Well, it's gotten them a 4-3 lead here in the second period. Sports Doctor was down in the East Lyme huddle. What'd they have to say?
Yeah, Gary White's message to his team, we got to find where 21 and 16 are at all times on the offensive end for the Lancers. You got to check them. You got to mark them. And his message to his goalie was, hug the pipe. Hug the pipe, son, because they're going to try and sneak one by you.
Thank you, Sports Doctor. Yeah, and that's what we saw, right? We saw Holdridge hit the pipe, 4 times there in the first period. So clearly they're going in that direction, and that's a good message from Gary White. But, I mean, does it really need to be said that you need to find Bowdish and Holdridge at all times on the field? I mean, it seems almost a little too, hey, you got to guard Kevin Durant and Steph Curry. It's like, I feel like it's kind of an obvious thought.
Sometimes, though, in the world of coaching, it just feels good to say the obvious. Sometimes the kids are real emotional, and they got the sweat and the salt hitting them in the eyeballs, and they just need to hear it.
That's a good point, Coach. You're right. It can't hurt to say it out loud, right? Put that into the universe for them to hear. Waterford now with Michael Lafort and Huda behind the net. Lafort rolls left, looks in front, kicks it all the way back out to Bowdish, and now up top, Holdridge's going to make a run. Holdridge to his left, fake, shoots low, and what a beautiful goal! Caleb Holdridge goes low right and beats Brodeur, and Waterford with a 5-3 lead. What a beautiful goal.
So sort of a role switch. Bowdish took that right wing, and Holdridge goes ISO dodge, and he's got a two-way go, but he goes strong hand down the left alley. And I think the goalie Brodeur, I don't think he had a good look at it. I think he was slightly screened by Jacobson and it beat him outside the left ankle.
Yeah, that was a beautiful goal. Just the angle of the shot, coming from nowhere and just beats him. That's exactly right. Lower left, right off the ankle, and a 5-3 lead. Waterford with its biggest lead of the game, 2 goals here, 9:51 remaining in period number 2.
So East Lyme has Hart back at the face-off X, and he does another nice job causing a scrum.
And it's controlled now by Waterford. Out of the pack came Eckert. Dylan Eckert, the long stick, rolls. He gets drilled, no penalty. Waterford still maintains possession.
Norigian got away with one there happily. He's playing rough. And you know what? That might be the spirit they need to keep them on their toes.
It's remarkable how much this game resembles last year's game in that respect. Waterford was sort of outskilling East Lyme on the offensive end, and East Lyme became much more physical and much more sort of aggressive in their defending, and it opened things up in later periods.
So here's a little strategy change after the 5th Waterford goal. East Lyme has slid themselves back into a zone, which was very effective in the first matchup.
Lafort had a look. Michael Lafort in front, went to his knees on a little slide shot, and I think he wanted that one. He missed it. Nice save by Brodeur. Now Mason Lafort up on top. It goes to Jacobson. Waterford swings. Lafort looking to distribute. In front it goes. Jacobson shot. Hits the post. Ricochets all the way out towards midfield. They're hungrily waiting for it where it's scooped up and kicked back in by Mason Lafort. And it's anybody's ball. Now out of the pack comes East Lyme. Schaffner with the ball. And East Lyme will have possession. Another missed opportunity by Waterford.
I'll say if there's been a ground ball of the game so far, it was clearly won there by Connor Schaffner. He came in, he knifed into the pack, got possession of a loose ball, and, Waterford have an opportunity there to go up by 3, and East Lyme now has an opportunity to close it back to 1. So it's a really nice play by the attackman from East Lyme.
McCoy with the ball for East Lyme. We have not said his name much. The fireballer for East Lyme has not had any touches here in the early going. Hart now with the ball back up top to McCoy.
So now McCoy has a nice matchup on Jacobson as a short stick, and which is really the first time he's been able to dodge.
Oh, nice pass in front. Point blank shot, no good, as Hart had a good look but went wide of the net. Swenson with the ball, gets a pick. Looking in front, nothing there.
So both teams switching out middies mid-run. East Lyme trying to play 5v5 for about 10 seconds and didn't really generate anything, but that might be something that comes on as the game wears out.
Smile on my face as freshman Quincy Foreign into the ball game for Waterford, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say I have worked with and been friends with his father for 22 years, and I knew Quincy when he was born, and so smile on my face as I see the freshman get a little playing time here in this championship game. Waterford on top 5-3 here in the second period with 6:56 remaining. Penalty on the field. And that's going to give East Lyme an opportunity here.
So East Lyme is now drawing their first man up for the day.
Sports Doctor, what do we got?
Yeah, Waterford penalty on 23, Casey. 30 seconds for holding.
Yep.
Joe Lillis with the penalty.
And it was probably worth it in terms of doorstep shots, because when McCoy drew Jacobson out, he did a really nice job of finding number 23 on the crease, and he got a great stop.
There's a great look in front, and Alden scores. Beautiful pass from Schaffner to Andrew Alden, point blank, right in front on the doorstep, and he beats Alloway, and the Vikings are back within one. 5-4 Waterford with 6:44 remaining.
That is Alden's second cut, scorching down towards the right pipe in this game, and he's showing a lot of prowess at it. Looks like something he's very comfortable doing, and his attackmen clearly know the space that he wants to be fed. It was very seamless.
Coach, is that a set piece off the power play for the East Lyme?
Well, it might be a little quick inbound thing that the attackman takes a quick look at, and it could be looked at as an innocent flash of the goal and maybe try to go over that to another shooter. But he got his stick free, and Schaffner put a ball on him, but he didn't have to move very far to get it.
The scoring percentage for East Lyme is remarkable right now. They have been incredibly efficient on the offensive end. And we get a whistle and a timeout, East Lyme. We'll find out momentarily what Coach Chris Landry is saying down in the Waterford huddle. But, I mean, it feels like East Lyme has only had about 5 or 6 shots today, and they got 4 goals. Whereas it feels like Waterford's had about 20 shots for their 5. Am I not seeing something, or is East Lyme taking advantage of the limited opportunities, or is this a specific sort of style of play?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, if you're Chris Landry, you're feeling like you should have already been able to pad this lead and sort, not to pull away, but to get a cushion. And Coach White, you're feeling like if you get a couple more possessions, you can really do some damage, because your kids are playing with a lot of high IQ, and they're finding free sticks, and it's not taking very long to do it. So I think both coaches, from an offensive perspective, sort of probably feel like they can control it with their offensive skill kids. I would say both coaches, from a defensive perspective right now, I think the East Lyme guys probably have a little more confidence, because they're saying we can hold up to a long possession and force a bad shot, and our goalie's going to make a save. Where Waterford, on the other hand, they're saying, well, geez, criminy, these possessions are going 30 seconds, and we're giving up a doorstep shot, so we got to tighten up.
Yeah, it feels like if Waterford doesn't have the ball, they don't have possession, East Lyme scores. But it feels like Waterford's going to score every time they have a possession because of how good their offense has been. Sports Doctor, what is Coach Landry saying?
Yeah, and it's exactly right, Casey. Coach Landry was talking about possession. We need to flip possession here, spread the field a little bit on offense, and put some more pressure on their goalie. You hit the nail on the head. It was all about ball possession during that timeout in Lancer Nation. Thank
you, Sports Doctor. It is Vikings ball right now, and they'll have it under control with Trevor Soames, and he'll play it through the keeper, Eric Brodeur, and East Lyme will transition out. Bad pass from the keeper, but Soames nicely. But now he loses it in front. There's a big turnover. And Waterford, can they seize opportunity? Foreign can't grab it. Ball still loose, and out of the pack comes East Lyme on a run in front, and a bad pass, and Schaffner couldn't handle the pass from Jakozak. And it'll be a turnover, Waterford ball, and a break for the Lancers. Long stick close, looks in transition fields, and we get a whistle and a timeout quickly. I believe that one's on Waterford as well. I think Coach Landry saw that they were a little out of sorts there, trying to calm things down in a one-goal game.
Well, Waterford was more than out of sorts. They were off sides. And before the referees got their count on, Coach Landry clicked off a timeout. That was probably the best timeout in the last 6 months he's taken.
That's a heads-up timeout right there, because not giving up the advantage. Right now, that one-goal lead is precious with 5 minutes and 49 seconds remaining here in period number 2. You are watching boys lacrosse, the ECC Finals, between the East Lyme Vikings and the Waterford Lancers. Casey O'Neill, along with the coach Ray Lafort, sports doctor Keith O'Brien down on the sidelines as game day brings you game 1 of championship rematch Thursday. Later on tonight, East Lyme and Stonington girls in a rematch of last year's finals as well. Sports doctor.
Coach, in the huddle here during the timeout, Chris Landry talked about a short clear, then dropping back 5 yards to set up an offensive run here. Possession, shot, good look is the message in the huddle there.
I would say that they're probably going to look to get the ball to a short stick. You know, it's interesting, when you take a timeout when you've just recovered a ball deep in your half of the field, which you're not allowed to do in college lacrosse, you know, when you do that, you're also allowing the defense to set up a ride on you. And they're going to be set up now, and you just gave the defense a chance to get all their good players out there, all the kids who are specifically good at certain roles. So, like right now, here you're seeing it. They're all sunk back. All the jerseys are marked up. This is not going to be a walk in the park right here for Waterford to get the ball to their offensive half.
The most often spoken word in the huddle, though, was listen. Listen, Coach. You can relate to that.
Well, because the kids are amped up. You know, and like now they're going to try to get the ball over here to Logan Bowdish. Oh, he was open there, and they missed him. And he's open again, and now he's going to walk it over. And, you know, right there, that shows up. The freshman goalie's not playing like a freshman because he found an open target again. He's not panicked. So, you know, sometimes, you know, when I'm evaluating goalies, I see a lot of kids who make a lot of saves, but not a lot of kids who make a lot of good decisions at this stage in their lacrosse career.
And that was a very, very calm and collected reset by Waterford, getting it into Bowdish's hands, and now they're on the offensive side of things. Holdridge gives it back behind to Lafort, and Michael Lafort will orchestrate this possession over to his brother Mason. Up top it goes to Jacobson and swung around to Bowdish.
So East Lyme is slid back in their zone. They have their 4 poles on the corners, which forces a little more inside play for Waterford. They've got in there on the crease, they've got the 2 short sticks. They've got Alden and they've got Belandis. So this is also a group they probably have that they wouldn't mind to get in a little transition because Belandis runs very well.
Lafort with the ball behind the net for Waterford. Alden out, checking him on the mark. In deep now. Holdridge shoots off the side of the net. And out of bounds it will go. And a nice effort there by Alden, but not enough time. Waterford will retain possession. Alden tried hard to beat Lafort to the ball, but couldn't quite get there. And I think Holdridge that time was testing to see if he can get a shot off. I don't think he had any real intention of that going in. I think he just wanted to kind of probe this defense there with that shot.
To see how far out he can get a good look. Mm-hmm. You know, he was probably there about 14, which for his range isn't bad, but the goalie still gets a good look at you.
Lafort backs off, gives it over to Mason Lafort. Now Waterford looking to reset. Mason Lafort just inside the 30-yard line and puts it back out to Jacobson.
You know, in the last calendar year, one of the interesting things is that Coach White has added some quality coaches to his staff. So he's added Kevin Frank, who was a defensive assistant over at Conn College, and they're very well known in the NESCAC as an excellent zone defense. So that little wrinkle, just the coaching and the knowledge, that's been a leg up for them, and they are very, very proficient right now in the zone. Waterford has not gotten a clean look yet in this set.
Rip and a beautiful save by Brodeur. He had that one lined up from Bowdish all along. The New England Small College Athletic Conference, NESCAC, is a outstanding conference for sports, and also, like we were talking about before, schools with really bright kids. So the IQ, the pure IQ there in the NESCAC school is very high. And that goal in front out of nowhere, Connor Schaffner beats Alloway. I think there was a missed defensive assignment. We're all tied at 5 with 3:03 remaining here in the second.
Well, that was back to what I've mentioned about 5 minutes ago about playing 5v5. Schaffner took the ball to the cage while they had 5 offensive players for East Lyme, and there were 5 for Waterford. So Waterford wasn't all the way set. And Schaffner Connor does a nice job there of working his way, a little S dodge at that right pipe, and got a stick above goal line extended and gets a good angle.
And we are all tied at 5. Waterford with a 2-goal lead evaporates here in the second period. 3:03 remaining, and we have ourselves a tie. Wade, nice job out in the middle. Again, that time by Flaherty of East Lyme. And Flaherty wins the faceoff from Wade. And East Lyme with a chance. Flaherty on a run all the way. Open look, shoots wide, save Alloway. And just smacked out of there by Lillis. Lafort controls for Waterford. Now Waterford looking to get a little run in transition. Lafort spins left and resets behind the net. It goes to Holdridge.
And that whole kind of unsettled, East Lyme does a great job. Their guys are running into the crease. They're running down to get into their zone defense. And here's another interesting little wrinkle because now James McCoy is sitting in here as a defender.
That's a big body in the zone.
So they're setting themselves up to run in transition and trap a Waterford offensive midfielder on McCoy on the next turnover.
That's some good that's some chess play right there. I enjoy that, Coach. In front, Rip Jacobson off the post. And out of bounds, it'll stay Waterford ball, but a rip shot by Kyle Jacobson, the sophomore. Let that one fly.
You know, they've hit about 6 posts already, but guess what? It counts as a save. And that also is an indication that Brodeur is building some good angles on the shooters. There's not a lot of cage that's available right now to them.
That's right, and it's not like they're hitting cages with open shots too. He's right there, and they're hitting pipe because there's no place else for them to go. Rock solid Brodeur here in the early going. Jacobson now up top to Holdridge. Bowdish looking in, rip shot low and wide by Holdridge. It'll stay, however, Waterford ball.
And the shot by Jacobson is a shot that he would not take in the first matchup. So a little confidence. They've seen some more zones, and they've had some more time to work out the wrinkles of their zone offense. If they can keep producing that shot, that's about a 12-yard shot. That's not bad. Waterford would probably take that as the day went on another 3 or 4 times.
Bowdish up top. Jacobson running the point for Waterford. Now gives it up to Holdridge. Back to Jacobson. Holdridge looks to rip, runs. Jacobson, pass was a little bit behind him that time by Holdridge, and Waterford resets.
Different wrinkle now, popping Holdridge off the crease, one of your better shooters. And now Jacobson's in that space again.
He had Mason Lafort, but he overshot him, and it will be East Lyme ball. Coming out of that was Norwegian.
And that's the hidden stat line of the zone defense, forcing Waterford to make 15, 20 passes. And next thing you know, the ball glances off a stick and all of a sudden it rolls out of bounds. And there's a turnover that it looks innocent in the stat line, but a possession ends without a shot.
In front, open look, spin, Schaffner, goal! Rob Swenson! Right in front, Swenson beats Alloway, and the Vikings back on top with 40 seconds remaining in the second.
And that's sort of what we're getting at. East Lyme willing in transition to play 4-on-4 or 3v3 and just taking advantage of the bigger space on the field before Waterford settle in. A nice face dodge to get the stick top side. A shot that, not a lot of velocity on the shot, but perfect placement.
Yeah, Swenson just got that angle and had a little open look. And with 40 seconds remaining, Waterford has seen 3 straight goals by East Lyme. The Vikings now back on top, 6-5.
Interesting to see if Waterford will push their transition and try to get a shot or 2 off before East Lyme sets up in their zone.
Wade wins the faceoff.
Like right here.
Up in front. Ball loose. Waterford controls. Lafort, open look, rip, and a goal from Holdridge on a beautiful look by Michael Lafort. What a nice set play by Waterford. Lafort with the vision, cross field to an open Holdridge, and he rips, and just like that, 4 or 5 seconds later, we're tied at 6.
And it's like, I was just in the sentence, it's a quick goal in unsettled. So that whole scrum occurs, and 26 for Waterford, Cyril, he gets over the top. It forces a 4v3. A slide comes up the field, and now you have a 2v3 in a 20-yard space. And I think when you see a zone defense, I think you have to be willing to take some more chances unsettled and get your shot off before the defense is sort of fronted up and set up on you.
It's also got to take some recognition, and that time it was Lafort that recognized it, that when you're facing a zone, going cross field, switching fields against a zone usually results in there being open space. He found Holdridge that time by just knowing that against the zone, that's going to be a spot that's open, a soft spot in the zone.
So here East Lyme is back in it. They're setting up. Waterford's a little slow to get their people on. We'll see if they get off a shot.
Yeah, Lafort gets one. Yeah, not a real. That's more of a shot for purposes of time's sake. It wasn't really the look that Waterford would have wanted there with only 0.2 seconds remaining here. They're not going to get a chance another shot. We are at the end of the second period. We were 3-3 at the end of 1, and we're 6-6 at the end of 2.
But a big difference, though, because East Lyme has used opportunities, odd man breaks, to produce great shots, and they're very efficient right now. And their zone forcing Waterford to make a lot of passes.
Sports Doctor has Waterford coach Chris Landry. Sports Doctor.
Well, Chris, Coach Landry, that goal to close out the first half, how important was that for your team?
That was huge. Last couple years, East Lyme's kind of got that last goal, and that really gave them the momentum going into the second half. And this game's all about momentum. We got to keep on winning the face-offs, getting the ground balls, and then capitalize when we can. What's the message here at halftime to the team? Be tough, play 4 quarters, dig deep. Let's not give anything up. Good luck in the second half. Hey, Casey, we're right back where we started, 6-6 going into halftime.
We were just saying, Sports Doctor, it's like end of first period, we were 3-3. We're at halftime, we're 6-6. We are poised for a second half of lacrosse. The first game between these two teams, 11-9, we're sort of right on the same pace as that first game, where these two teams, I think they could play 100 games, and I think it'd all be closely contested games. These two teams sort of know each other, and their skills almost complement it being a close game.
Yeah, and I think that there is a lot of familiarity. Just reflecting into a summer lacrosse setting, Norwegian and Bowdish were on the same summer team at some point in time, so they're very familiar with each other. The second goalie, the goalie that's on the bench right now for East Lyme, Fusaro, another kid who plays. So there's a lot back and forth, and there's a lot of familiarity, and I think it lends itself to a tight game.
The observation was that the game's maybe a little too fast right now for James McCoy. I think that's an interesting observation, that the speed has sort of left him in fewer situations to score. That's the East Lyme fireballer McCoy. Talk a little bit about what East Lyme did by putting him back in that zone at the end of the second period. Is that in an effort to get him in a good matchup? Because obviously they need him to be involved.
Well, it's curious because you've seen him now guarding Jacobson behind the cage one-on-one in a defensive role, and then he appears late in the second quarter as the high midi in the zone, which would normally be an outlet. And I think maybe Coach White wants to get him involved in numbered breaks, whereas he's generally a set shooter and generally a settled sixes kind of player, but East Lyme's not really right now playing settled offense. They're pushing the numbers. So I think maybe Coach wants to get James involved in the offense before it settles in.
So 6-6 halftime, and I feel like both teams, I think East Lyme has to feel pretty good about themselves. If I'm looking at it from an East Lyme perspective, our offense has been very efficient. Our goalie's playing well. We've done a decent job once we've dropped into the zone at least making Waterford work for their goals. I would be disappointed if I were Gary White at that last Waterford goal in the transition, because I think that was a little too easy, and you nailed it right on the head. But I'd feel pretty good overall if I were East Lyme. On the other side of things, if I'm Waterford, I feel really good about my offense and all the opportunities that we've gotten, and I think they're going to go to school on the zone here at halftime. I think that's got to be the message, is how they want to attack that zone. But I can't feel good defensively if I'm Waterford, because anytime East Lyme has a possession, they seem to get not only do they seem to score, but they seem to get really good looks.
Yeah, and it's happened quick. Waterford defensively is pretty fleet-footed, and a kid like James McCoy is a big body, and he might want to back you down, but you really haven't seen that happen yet. I still think you've got the good matchup with Close, Waterford's number 12, on Swenson. You really haven't seen them go one-on-one any more than once at this stage. That might be something that Coach White wants to get to in the second half, because he's a great feeder. So even if Close plays tough D and Swenson gets half a step, that's where McCoy shows up again with that big step-down shot.
We're going to bring the sports doctor in and have him join the conversation.
Coach Ray LaForte. Coach, first of all, congratulations to you personally on a huge run with the Coast Guard team this year, and NEWMAC final, and come up a little bit short against Springfield, but I was around some of those games, and I just wanted to say congratulations. It was a tremendous, tremendous year down at the academy.
I really appreciate that, Keith. We've had a lot of buy-in. When you launch a Division III program from club, a lot of people have to be on board, and I've really had a lot of people want to help roll up their sleeves and get this program off to the right start. It's been a real 4-year build. The message has been the same for 4 years, but the players are bought in.
Yeah.
The kids are settled into their roles. Our practices have gotten very challenging. I think that's the big jump. As our roster went from 34 players a year ago to this year, we added a big class, and now we're at 43 players. I think when you can really scrimmage, play full substituted field lacrosse in an inter-squad scrimmage with 22 kids on a side, I think your game jumps. And
right.
And our guys are competitive. They work very hard, and they look at practice as the opportunity to get better.
Is this what it takes for a program coach? Does it take 3 or 4 years maybe to make your mark, to get your guys in there a little bit? This is what, your 4th year as a head coach?
Yep.
Is this what it normally takes on a Division I, II, III level?
Well, I don't know. Years back, University of Michigan won the club lacrosse D1 tournament, and then they launched. They went to D1 NCAA, and it's hard. They're 7-8 years into it now, and they're just sort of hanging in that same space. If you're going to start to pick off, the big people in your competition base. This year we made a very big bump in the quality of opponent. Early on, we brought in Wesleyan, and we were lucky to beat them. We were lucky to beat them 10-9. They're playing for the national championship on Sunday.
Number 2 team in the country at the time, weren't they, Coach?
In one poll, they were 1, and the other they were 2, and we were just ecstatic. And
well, you're doing the game with a Wesleyan grad, so I mean, we don't want to go down that road, but you can throw a little egg on his face if you want. I mean, it's all right.
Well, both teams played very hard that night.
Yeah.
We responded to everything they did. They jumped out on us 3-0. We got it to 3-3. They took it to 6-3. We got it to 6-6. And then we were up 9-8 with 30 seconds to go. They tied the game. We won overtime. We won the face-off. I called the timeout, and our offensive coordinator got the ball to Anthony Weiler, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
But our whole mojo really dates back to the year before, going up to Springfield and beating them 9-8 up there on a cold and rainy Wednesday night.
Kind of catapulted your program a little bit.
Well, I think that was the first time that we had gone toe-to-toe with the biggest of big dogs for us and gotten the confidence to play 60 minutes.
Yeah. Coach, and one last thing, too, and how do obviously sports is a big deal in your household, lacrosse and football. How do you separate being a dad from a coach to a fan? How do you manage all that?
It's funny. When my kids come home, Mason wants to talk about what's for dinner, and he wants to go pick off his homework. And Michael, he's sort of waiting for me to critique him. And maybe I give him a little something, but I sort of want to move on and give him a big hug. You know, I guess I can be very analytical, and sometimes I don't like to talk about it in my house the night it happened. Maybe 2 days later we'll just talk about it and get out the salt and pepper shakers and move them around at the table. But, you know, at the end of the day, you're a dad. You love your kids, and you want to see them happy and excel. And I think for my family, lacrosse has been a great spot.
Yeah.
And my daughter loves it. My wife coaches it. And it's just a whole lot of fun for us.
Well, we got a great second half on the tap. I'll bring Casey back in. 6-6, Casey, with about a minute to go here in the half. And you guys are right. The Norwegian kid for East Lyme is a monster. He is bigger than me and then some, Coach. You got to have a few of those on the squad next year down at the academy.
Well, you know, Andrew is a Coast Guard family. His dad, Adams, is a Master Chief, and it's a tough crew over there. And the Academy's lucky Adam Norwegian's coming back to the Academy next year to help him be a mentor to the cadets, and we're just lucky to have him.
Well, the Norwegian family is a lacrosse family, a Coast Guard family, and right now my family, you talk about lacrosse and yours, I'm missing a Little League game right now. I'm the coach of my son's Little League team. We got a divisional game right now, and I'm getting videos sent to me from both my wife and my mom who are trying to keep me up to date. 4-0, good guys in the Little League game right now. But we talked a little bit at halftime about Waterford they're going to have to go to town on that zone. They're going to have to attack it. If it was you and you were coaching this Waterford team, you're certainly familiar enough with them. What's the strategy to go attack that zone that East Lyme put out there? And Coach Landry has to have noticed McCoy in that zone spot, knowing what they're trying to do. What's the approach from Waterford's side of things?
The counter to James playing defense and running the field in transition is not substituting off of him, is going skin for skin as the ball transitions and just shadowing him. If the D midi for Waterford or if the O midi subs out, it creates a 4v3, and you might not want that to occur. The challenge Waterford offensively is to flood out and get a third or a fourth stick on the side and cause a flood. And if you want to get a perimeter shot, the next strategy would be to play two crease players, which is what they're doing, and to have one down pick or off-ball pick for the other to get a free stick.
Well, we'll see what East Lyme does on its first possession. Cam Hart won the faceoff from Luther Wade, and East Lyme has the first possession of the second half. 6-6 here at East Lyme High School. Up on top, it will go to Andrew Alden, and there it is in the hands of McCoy. McCoy going one-on-one with Searle. McCoy looks to rip, shot, and a goal! Just like that, the fastball. James McCoy, 30 seconds into the second half, puts the Vikings on top, 7-6.
And he got down to the right alley. He's a right-handed shooter. His stick's outside. He leans his left shoulder in on Searle, who is, and James is 6'4", so that might be something that you see more and more of. Coach Landry might have to either change the matchup or slide very fast to that.
And I know firsthand the fastball off the stick of McCoy, he can bring it, and that's just a difficult shot for a keeper to defend. He can go anywhere with that shot, and it puts the Vikings on top 7-6, 11:30 remaining here in the third period. Face off that time in the scrum in transition. East Lyme comes out with it. Straight up the field, whipped, shot, and a goal by Norwegian. Just like that, the big long stick, Norwegian rips it home, and the Vikings in 43 seconds have scored 2 goals to open the second half.
Well, both second half face-offs have been won, or really not directly won, but East Lyme's causing a scrum. Norwegian's come up with both of them. And there he gets down the middle. No one slides. He gets to about 10 yards. The goalie tracking a ball out of a long stick shooter is very difficult, and Andrew's very proficient at threading the needle.
Wade's going to have to take this one. Cam Hart has been fierce with Wade. Now Wade comes out of it with the face-off win this time, and the official takes a spill. But Wade gets it over to Holdridge. Waterford looking to rebound, They're down by 2 goals for the first time today. Lafort recovers possession now behind the goal. Bowdish, Jacobson, and Huda set up shop in their offensive spaces in front. There it goes, and a goal by Huda. Beautiful look. Michael Lafort to Ryan Huda, and just like that, Waterford cuts it to 1.
So East Lyme coming out of halftime changes their defense. They're back in the man. But a little wrinkle, they have a short stick midfielder basically face guarding Caleb Holdridge, which is good and bad because although Holdridge might not have the ball, as marked right here, Huda gets a free cut down the middle. So I think sometimes when kids are in positions that they're not familiar with, I think sometimes that there's a quick learning curve. So maybe East Lyme's going to work out those wrinkles in the next possession or two. We'll see if they jump back into that.
Very physical face-off that time, and the referees are going to blow the whistle. It'll be Waterford ball. And Waterford will send Cyril down the left edge. He's going to get it to Lafort, and in comes Bowdish and Mason Lafort for Waterford, the scoring 6. Now Jacobson joins the fray, and here come the 6. Lafort and Holdridge. Holdridge with the ball. Up top it goes to Mason Lafort. He'll swing to Bowdish, and East Lyme sets into that defense.
So East Lyme still with the 2 short stick defensive midfielders occupying the middle, and Waterford's trying to rotate the ball from right to left. The lefties are very much dominant here, and this ball goes errant. And now East Lyme recovers. Another reason to play some zone, forcing Waterford to make with the extra pass.
Yeah, Holdridge was in a really good spot, but the communication between he and Lafort just not there. I thought you were going to go one place. You went someplace else. That's another thing that the communication required when you have to make that many passes. You had to talk.
So Waterford is locking off all the targets here. The goalie is clean. And he makes a little inside pass to number 1.
Galbo,
and they've made a nice clear here.
Galbo dumps it back to Schaffner. And Galbo will head back onto the defensive side of things now. Schaffner straight up the middle. He gives it to Belandis. And back to Alden. East Lyme in no hurry. 9:30 remaining here in the third period. 8-7 Vikings. Allen.
So East Lyme ISO in on the short sticks of Waterford and compressing the defense all the way down to the 10-yard line, which is the goal line extended.
13, that's Swenson.
So this is the matchup we were talking about a little earlier. Really haven't seen much of this, of Robbie Swenson and Kevin Close go one-on-one since the first quarter.
Back on top. East Lyme will make another run at it. Here comes Alden. In the middle, Alden shoots and he scores! Andrew Alden beats Alloway. And the Vikings back on top 9-7.
And they've gone down that right alley now for 2 of the 3 goals this quarter. Alloway holding the left pipe. I'm not sure if he got beat off stick there. But Waterford's a little late to slide on those right-handed alley dodges right now.
Yeah, right now, Waterford has got to be concerned that East Lyme looks like they're turning it up a notch here. And with a 2-goal lead, I think Waterford's got the firepower to score goals, but they've got to come up with some answers on how to defensively stop East Lyme. These goals are coming too easy for the Vikings.
So James McCoy on the wing now for the first time. I think trying to get quick offense off the face-off win.
Talk a little bit about the versatility that McCoy is showing here after we see this run straight ahead. Waterford in front, open look, tipped, and a nice save by Brodeur.
So Waterford shooting off the break. There's a push in the back right there, and the refs let it go. That's amazing.
Pushed by Jakubczak. He's being very physical now. McCoy's in the mix with the ball, and he gets hammered. And finally, a timeout down on the field.
Well, James showed some big boy right there. He's getting checked by about 4 Waterford kids, and when he lifts the stick up over his head, stick's probably about 12 feet in the air.
Sports doctor, a little bit of energy down there.
A little bit of emotion, Casey. Big James McCoy says, I'm not giving this rock up. He was getting swarmed by Waterford defenders, and I think right now the Vikings are trying to make a stand, Casey. Coach had talked about that right side against the Waterford goalkeeper where they were hammering it, finally scored a goal, and right now I think East Lyme senses their physicality may take this game over.
So I was asking a little bit before, and I think this certainly qualifies even more now. Talk a little bit about the versatility that James McCoy brings. You've just named 6 different things he's done in today's game.
Well, I believe he's a University of Hartford commit, so he's a Division I talent. Coach White is trying to get, which may be in the back of his brain, you're trying to get one of his top players around the lacrosse ball more and more. So he's on the wing now. He's out here on defense. The size and his presence right here on that last series and that ground ball and that clear, he showed up to be a wonderful player right there. And I think as a coach, you're trying to get a kid you count on, right? He's a senior, maybe 1 or 2, 3 games left in his high school career. You're trying to lean on him a little bit, and I can't blame a coach for turning to his, what he would think maybe is his best player. I do it all the time, to be honest with you.
Now I'm going to blow your mind. He's a junior.
I did not know that. I thought he was a senior.
He's a junior, and I believe you're right about being an early commit, but he's a junior. The big number 17 has got a whole nother year of terrorizing opponents here in the ECC. And speaking of McCoy, he has the ball straight away now, makes a run down in the corner. It goes, looking for the open man, and he gave it to Swenson, and Swenson, we're going to reverse fields. Now Alden will have it for East Lyme. 9-7 lead with 7:51 here in the third period. McCoy clears some space in front. Oh, tried to pass it one too many times. I think he should have ripped that shot. He absolutely buried the defender, went right over the top of him, knocked him to the ground, and I think he had a little lane, and he tried to make that one extra pass.
So Waterford switched the matchup and put Kevin close on him, and James, used a little bit of a height-weight advantage, and he really put his shoulder into Kevin, and I guess you'd say caused a human pile.
Yeah, he certainly did. But Waterford comes out of it with the ball. Michael Lafort drifting, looking for a cutter, puts it behind the net to Holdridge. Holdridge back to Lafort, and Waterford will reset. Offensive possession now. Mason Lafort gets onto the field for the Lancers.
And this thing has just settled down. So if you're East Lyme, you're feeling good about what you've done. You had a little bit of momentum. Now you got Waterford in to settle the offense, forcing them to make a lot of high IQ passes, and seeing, if your goalie can get another good look at the next shot.
You got Holdridge up top. Bowdish, who's been very, very quiet here recently, and he's buried Norwegian that time, put his stick into his back and created a loose ball. Still loose, and Norwegian, that's a nice play there by Norwegian, but it will end up being East Lyme ball. Waterford ball.
I think Waterford might have got lucky there with that call, because technically they had the last possession. The ball was not possessed by anybody when the ball was rolling around on the ground. And here comes an errant pass. The ball is going to go over the 50. Oh, it does not. The Waterford defender makes a very nice play to keep it onside.
Shizuski that time kept it in, and Waterford with a huge opportunity. Holdridge looking for a seam in front, and a beautiful pass, and the goal. Nice pass by Holdridge to Huda, who puts it away and cuts the lead to 1. 9-8 East Lyme with 6:04 remaining.
Holdridge makes a quick feed into the wing. He bounced the ball back and forth to Lafort, and he makes a quick feed into a very tight space to Huda's free stick. The stick was not really very free. It was just a very nice pass, and the ball was shot without even being cradled.
Yeah, that was a beautiful, almost like a one-timer right there, and Huda just kind of kept the momentum of the pass heading towards the net, and a goal that time to within 1. And Waterford trying to capitalize now on a little bit of momentum with 6:04 remaining here in the third period. Great job again by Hart. He wins it a face-off. He has it in front, and it's lost and over to Waterford, and a whistle. Waterford ball. And they'll get Wade and Eckert off the field and get Bowdish back on the field. We've got a whistle.
I think they're going to talk on that last call. The ball was really never possessed by anybody, and it wound up rolling around on the ground all the way to Waterford's crease.
And it will be Waterford ball. The officials seem pretty clear on that, and that gives Waterford an opportunity to set up its offensive players and East Lyme an opportunity to mark up defensively. So this is going to require Waterford to have the patience that they showed last time with the goalie Alloway. And more whistles. I think the officials here are. And the officials are going to talk some more.
You know, in high school lacrosse, the typical crew is a two-man crew. Tonight you have a three-man crew for a championship game, which I think is a great call by the ECC to pay for the extra ref. But if they're all high school refs, they don't normally work in a triangle. So there are some things to work out. It's not as cut and dry with guys that you're not that familiar with. So sometimes the operational part of the refereeing sometimes is a little cumbersome when you get a new guy in your crew.
Great pass in front, and the goal from Jacobson to tie the ball game at 9. Beautiful cut by Kyle Jacobson, and we are all brand new. What else is new? Sports Doctor, what do you got?
Yeah, Coach, it looks like the speed right now of the Lancers on these little quick cuts are causing confusion on a defensive end for East Lyme. Very big, very strong, but keep an eye on the speed here in the last quarter half of the game, Case.
Well, they're sending some cutters down the right pipe where the feeders are, similar to the East Lyme early goals in the game over to Belandi's. So that might be something that they're looking to do to get to the zone before the zone sort of makes them throw 20 passes.
You know, you mentioned the three officials, and we had this conversation throughout the basketball season because everyone wants the three-man crew in high school basketball. And it was explained that, you know, all year long, these guys are used to working in a two-man set. So it's not just as simple as throwing another official out there. Sometimes it can actually cause some confusion because if they're not used to working in the three-man system, sometimes, you know, it takes a little while to look at anything else to maximize that. So that was a good observation that in lacrosse, the same thing happens. They work with a two-man crew all year. Now they get dumped into a three-person crew, and sometimes that takes a little bit of work on their part to get in communication with each other.
Yeah, and it's just sometimes standing in the right place, seeing it from a new angle. Maybe it's a place you haven't been. So Waterford here trying to get feeds from below goal line extended to cutters again, and the ball goes over the first cutter, and it looks like Waterford gets called for interference right here. So East Lyme's going to get an attempt at a clear. Waterford on the ride. Once again, marking all the midfield targets, and Waterford's riding with two high riders.
Huda couldn't believe that one. Ball loose on the turf, scooped up by East Lyme. Soames with it. He's going to head down long stick on long stick. Nice job by Close to dislodge the ball and get possession, but a little bit too much on the effort that time, but it's picked up nicely on the other side. And Waterford trying to retain out of bounds, and it'll be East Lyme ball.
You know, Soames did a really nice job there, breaking out of the defensive half and carrying the ball to the offensive half of Waterford. For a second there, just body mechanics and awareness, he looked like Norwegian. So East Lyme's defenders not afraid of breaking out of their comfort zone and transporting the ball up the field.
East Lyme with an opportunity. Schaffner, McCoy now back up top. Belandi's will go down deep to Swenson.
So McCoy now is marked by Fayen. So that's a little bit of an advantage.
Oh, shot in front off the pipe. Retained by East Lyme. Belandi's with it back up top to McCoy. That one hit pipe.
McCoy being a righty and Fayen being a righty, McCoy has a little advantage here to his right hand, to his strong hand, because the head of Fayen's stick is opposite the head of McCoy's stick when they face each other.
McCoy likes to put that shoulder into the smaller defender. Nice time by Lillis, came over and double teamed.
Well, if I was 6'4", I would definitely make a living on putting my shoulder into people in lacrosse.
Absolutely.
You got to say.
Right on cue, Coach. McCoy from 25 yards out. That's a fastball outside corner and a goal. And the Vikings back on top, 10-9. 3:08 remaining in the third.
So a nice skip pass. And when I say a skip pass, not throwing to the adjacent offensive player, but skipping two, making the goalie 2 clicks away. It's got to move twice to get square up to that shot, and James buries one in the 5-hole right between Alloway's legs. A really pretty offensive play by East Lyme.
How do you stop that shot? I mean, seriously, Casey, this McCoy kid is kind of like the Bo Jackson of the Tecmo Bowl back in the day. You can't stop him. He's big, he's strong. What a point-blank shot.
Well, I think the answer to that question is your goalie's got to be in perfect position, and you can't afford to allow his teammates to get that extra pass. And, because he's going to be talented enough on his own right if you give him open looks.
Well, and the next thing you're going to have to do is not slide off him. Because as you're sloughing down, drawing attention to where the ball is below the cage, you're giving space for that kid to get his stick free. And that could be a theme as we move forward through the next 14 minutes of the night.
Yeah, and you just can't give him space. His very accurate and very strong, the shot by McCoy. And 1-goal lead now for the Vikings here. 2:20 remaining in the period. McCoy on the field. And he's going to get marked up by the freshman, Quincy Foran. On the other end, Alden with it makes a run for the Vikings. Pass in front and a shot and a save by Alloway.
So Waterford in the last possession, they've decided to shut off a similar strategy that East Lyme showed on Holdridge. They shut off James there and just cause a moment of hesitation.
A turnover. Swenson now on the run for the Vikings. 2-on-1. Swenson to the middle. Shot and a nice job on the backside by Bowdish. Little back check by Bowdish. Up ahead to Foran.
So Waterford got lucky there on the numbers. East Lyme had a 2-on-1 and did not get off a great shot there. Waterford very fortunate to get the ball back, being down by 1 and having possession. That could have easily gone the other way.
Now Bowdish didn't give up, came from behind, used his stick, got in there, took the ball away. And now Waterford looking to tie it up. 1:14 remaining here in the third period. It's been a doozy here. Beautifully played game. 10-9, East Lyme on top. In front, ripped Jacobson high over the goal. It'll stay Waterford ball.
So their similar skip ball from Michael Lafort to Jacobson to get the free shooter, trying to go 2 clicks on the goalie.
Bowdish to Holdridge. Holdridge checked, spins, shoots, and scores! Caleb Holdridge from nowhere, from no angle, beats the goalie. Brodeur never saw it, and we are tied at 10.
Holdridge, a very nice little pirouette, drops the stick to his right hand, pirouettes, and then comes on the spin and shoots off the inside hip of his defender. I don't think that Brodeur saw the shot even get off.
He stood there. The shot did not have a tremendous amount of velocity. He stood. I don't think he ever saw it. You're right, Coach, because he stood and almost looked down as if, how did that get there? Just saw the net rip and couldn't believe that the shot was off.
And this is what I was talking about earlier. Both these teams seem improved from the first matchup. We know we're deeper in the season. They've played more opponents. But in the last matchup, the score was 11-9, and now you're sitting at 10-10 going into the fourth. I think that both offenses are just a little more honed up for this day.
Lafort in front. Waterford wants to put one in before the end of the third period and go into the fourth period up a goal because we are tied at 10. Jacobson behind the net to Lafort. Lafort to Holdridge. Holdridge can shoot it from anywhere. In front, Bowdish looking to rip. Instead, back to Holdridge. 13 seconds remaining. Holdridge in front. Jacobson hits the pipe. And that ball rolls, picked up, and kept in play. But over the line that time was Eckert offsides, and it'll go over to East Lyme.
And a small change in East Lyme's zone, a little college-ish. Coach Franks, instead of having the short sticks on the crease and the low low crease and the string between the mid crease and the top, he's put his short sticks now in the top corners. So now he's got poles on the inside and the low corners. So with that, he's going to be able to apply more pressure with a long stick defender to any feeders coming from Waterford. So now the strategy counters back. Does Waterford recognize it quickly and compress the corners to get a better shot from the top? Because that's where the more advantageous spaces are now.
Well, we're going to find out. We're tied at 10 heading into the fourth quarter. Sports Doctor.
Casey, all tied up, and number 11 from Waterford came off the field after hitting the post and said, "Sports Doctor, that was the third one I had hit the post. I'm going to find the back of the net sooner or later."
Kyle Jacobson, he is ripping away. As you said, he's taken the James McCoy slot in the Waterford approach to the zone, getting him up on the high point where he gets that open look, and he's the fastball from the top. And Waterford has hit more pipes today. I think, it's a testament to good goalkeeping on East Lyme's part. The kid's in a good position, but Waterford has putting more shots on goal, and you got to think to yourself, on a different day, it's 15-10 instead of 10-10.
And to the shots that hit the pipe, that's momentum you never get, because it gets a little frustrating, and the goalie mentally starts to win. Because you're saying, oh, the goal's getting tighter, everything, I'm getting squeezed. Sort of like a batter in baseball thinking a ball's a ball and the ump calls it a strike, and you're like, oh, I have to hit that. So the Waterford shooters now, let's see if they can keep their composure, because they're drawing a lot of pipes, but the goalie's mentally winning.
Got to stick to the game plan. Speaking of the game plan, Sports Doctor was down in the East Lyme huddle. What's the message going into the fourth?
Well, they're just not quite ready to give up the ECC championship crown just yet, Casey. They talked about spacing. They talked about finding the back of the net. They talked about finishing. They talked about being a champion and all the little things it takes to go through the grind of the season and win a title. I can tell you right now, this is a heck of a ball game. It's a microcosm of last year, Casey. Both these teams are ready to roll.
Thank you, Sports Doctor. They are. And, Coach, there's something to it. You have to play sports and obviously play and coach to understand this, I think. The mentality that East Lyme has right now, the idea of something being, this is ours. This is our championship. This is our home field. We're not ready for you to make that climb yet. And until Waterford can do it, it's East Lyme's championship.
Well, and you've got seniors on the East Lyme team that don't want to be the guys to let it slip. So, they're not playing desperate, but they're very determined. And, they're very composed. They've been in these big games before. It's a tradition for East Lyme to win this, and they are rising to the occasion to make this a great game.
Jacobson comes out of the pack with it for Waterford, dodging a bullet that time as that ball was loose in front of the cage, and he gets it off to Holdridge, and Waterford will take the time to reset. East Lyme looking to make a change. Back behind the net it goes to Bowdish, and, check that, Huda, and now Lafort will set up shop for Waterford behind the net.
And here's where the change in strategy of where you place your poles and your short sticks, I think they're going to give Michael Lafort a little more harassment in this next set, and they're going to force the shooters from the top corners to either carry and draw two or step down and crank.
Holdridge, he wants to let it fly, and he does, and a beautiful save by Brodeur.
And then right there, that's what I'm talking about the mental edge, is Brodeur is fronted up to that shot. He is squared up in a great goaltending position, and he sees that ball from the moment it leaves Holdridge's stick into his own stick.
On the transition, the other direction, East Lyme with an opportunity in front. There it is, Belandis, and a goal. Beautiful look, Ryan Belandis right in front, and it puts East Lyme back on top, 11-10, 10-19 remaining in the ballgame.
Waterford's just getting into its defensive shape, and Belandis is underneath his defender. So even though he's marked, he's still between the ball and the goal rather than the Waterford defender being underneath him. So a really nice feed coming out of the low left corner, And that's probably the third goal he scored today in a similar kind of offensive mode.
Yeah, he knows where to go when he gets that defender on his backside and he gets right into scoring position. He puts East Lyme up 11-10. You know, Coach, when I had the opportunity to play goalkeeper for a few minutes against the East Lyme team, and I got a chance to face that fastball of James McCoy, I made 2 saves. I didn't see either of them, but the point being that I got taught by the East Lyme keepers on where to be in good position. So I was in good position. I was in the right spot, and he hit me. I find that Brodeur is doing an excellent job of getting into good position so that he can see some of these long shots. And we're going to have a penalty out there against Waterford. Sports Doctor, what do we got?
Delay a game penalty on number 26 from Waterford. 30-second penalty, Casey. Not what the Lancers need right now starting the fourth quarter, down a goal.
That's Cyril.
The delay of game, Cyril picked the ball up. The ball was called for East Lyme off of Wade's. Wade dropped it. Cyril picked it up, and he rolled it away. And just that little roll away delays the fast restart, and there's your delay of game.
See if the Vikings can take advantage and take a commanding 2-goal lead. It's hard to say that, but right now, goals at a premium in front. Beautiful look. Oh, nice pass by Swenson, but he couldn't connect with Norwegian, and it will be Waterford ball.
I think a 2-goal lead at this stage could be in the category of commanding. I think that begins to place a lot of pressure on Waterford, and I think that once the thing gets away from 2, life gets hard versus zone defense.
Lafort up top now. Jacobson wants to go up to the point. Holdridge now Bowdish controls, and Mason Lafort comes onto the field, and he'll take the ball for Waterford. Waterford down 1 with 9:25 remaining, trying to tie this thing up. It's been back and forth since the very opening of the ball game. Back behind the net, Michael Lafort over to Brother Mason. Swinging around the top to Jacobson. Waterford being very deliberate with this possession.
So the poles on the low corners, you've got Galbo on one side, and then on the other side, you've got Soames, and they're doing a nice job of really confining that space.
And there's a turnover by Waterford. Pass over the top of Jacobson, and it's going to be East Lyme ball. They'll bring it in on the Waterford side of things. In front, quick transition now. Swenson looking to get in front. East Lyme's been so efficient today. If they can get this goal, like you said, Coach, puts a lot of pressure on Waterford. Here comes big number 17, James McCoy, and he'll take the ball for East Lyme at the 45. He'll make a run. He's got Fayen on him. Off the hip, puts his shoulder down, gets a space, heads to the middle, looks for a pass, and a nice job as the defender came over and took a bump, and he gets it off to Alden.
So Waterford slid, forcing McCoy to roll back to his weak hand. That's the first time they've really slid that alley that early. So that's a change.
Swenson with the long stick of close. Waterford keeping him close. Swenson goes back on top, and Alden and East Lyme is in no rush with a 1-goal lead, 7:52 remaining.
Yep, they're in a little triangle offense now up top. Dodging alleys and rolling back if they can't get their stick clean. Here's a roll back again. And now the ball's back in James's hand. He's marked by a long stick.
Fayen on McCoy. East Lyme now looking to clear up. Right edge, back behind the net. It will go to Swenson, and they'll reset. Swenson along with Schaffner.
Can't call this a stall, but you certainly can call this good lacrosse and call this a really good possession.
They're in no rush right now. They're going to force Waterford. There's a pass in front. Alden with a clean look, and he scores! The patience of East Lyme is rewarded. Andrew Alden beats Alloway low, and the Vikings are up 12-10.
And, in the patience, East Lyme's willing to take the ball down below GLE, drawing 2 Waterford poles below, and then they skip the ball back up top to a free shooter at Alden, and he does another nice job. They might have had a meeting, too, because they've beaten Alloway now twice in the second half between the legs.
Yeah, they may have said the 5-hole was an open spot. We talked before. They go to school, these kids do, these coaching staffs do. And if you're going to have a hole in your game, they're going to find it. 12-10 and Waterford now. Pressure surely on their shoulders. Wade does the first thing. He wins the face-off. Up ahead it goes. Clicked and loose, but retained by Cyril. And Waterford will get its offensive players onto the field. Lafort and Bowdish waiting to come in front. Huda had a chance, but it's stolen away by East Lyme on the run. Hart straight down the middle. Hart looks to fire a shot, spins, wants some space, nicely checked, and ball loose, and Waterford comes away with it with Jacobson.
So Waterford's going to get a free shot here on the delayed penalty. I got to say, they got very lucky. Hart got in very deep. He got to 6 yards and almost got a shot off there before Waterford decided to slide.
Lafort in front. Took his eyes. Bowdish has to be responsible for that one. He had an opportunity. It slipped through. Ball still loose as soon as East Lyme can recover it. And then there's the penalty going to be enforced now. Waterford ball. Mason Lafort ahead to Michael Lafort.
So it looks to me like the flag was picked up. I have not seen that before.
Now Waterford under 6 minutes remaining. Very patient. They need to get a good opportunity here. Back behind the net. Now they've got Huda behind the net. Bowdish and Jacobson up top. Bowdish rips low and a bounce shot. Unbelievable goal by Bowdish on the bounce. Gets Waterford within 1, 12-11.
That's the first bounce shot of the night by either team. You know, Bowdish is about 5'9", and the bounce shot from him, he can draw the goalie down, and the ball can then get over the goalie's shoulder when the goalie drops. But a bounce shot from a James McCoy is even more lethal because it produces a bigger angle and the bigger topspin and the bigger bounce off the turf. So that's the first one we've seen from either team for the night.
You know, hard to believe at this point with only 5 minutes and a half remaining in the game. First bounce shot we've seen, but effective in nature. 12-11 East Lyme. Now Wade wins the face-off for Waterford, and he'll head into the zone. Ball loose, and diving for it is Huda, but it goes out of bounds, and it'll be East Lyme ball. Nice effort by Ryan Huda, but East Lyme will have it as we tick-tock down to 5.5 minutes.
You know, another space that's very technical in lacrosse, and you can see is clearly getting coached. East Lyme, even though they're losing face-offs, they are doing a very good job of covering targets. And so they're still doing a great job of technically post-face-off riding. Their face-off coach, Adam Rand, has been a top face-off guy in Major League Lacrosse. So clearly a strategy that probably an Adam Rand sees a lot as he wins a lot of face-offs, but targets then get shut off and things just get harder. So East Lyme's making turnovers off of a face-off loss.
Down one, under 5 minutes remaining. Ripped shot and a goal! Bowdish again. Logan Bowdish with back-to-back goals, and oh my, we're tied at 12.
So second bounce shot. Goalie just not seeing the angle. I think Brodeur was squared up. I just don't think he saw the release point, but he was squared up, and Bowdish just beat him there off the stick side.
Well, you couldn't ask for anything more in an ECC championship lacrosse match. 12-12 with just under 5 minutes remaining here in the ball game.
It's fun to see kids play well. And right now, on both sides, is a lot of kids playing well. And that's what you want to see. You want to see kids making plays. And right now, all these kids are giving great effort.
Whistle, and we're going to get Coach Landry says, I don't know what's that all about. And they're going to say, East Lyme ball. Coach Landry not happy at all. Sports Doctor, what's going on?
Coach Landry's calling for a push down there on the sidelines. Wanted possession of the ball. No dice that time for the Lancer Nation.
Instead, James McCoy with the ball passes over to Swenson. And under 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining, the next goal could be the difference maker in this one as time becomes precious. Alden with a run. spins to his left. In front, finds Swenson, but nope, the ball falls to the turf, and East Lyme will reset now down to 4 minutes.
That's the first time of the night we've seen a skip ball down to the opposite alley. And you know, it's a nice pass. Swenson was open. I'm wondering if that at the last timeout was discussed.
Foreign does a nice job on Jakozak, and he shoots the shot wide, but it'll stay East Lyme ball. Under 4 minutes remaining, 3:50 here in a 12-12 ball game in the ECC Championship. McCoy looking for some space, can't get it, close, banging him, cross it goes, Swenson, nice catch that time on the stick by Swenson.
That's that skip ball to the opposite alley I just mentioned. He was open again. If the pass was a little more stick side and didn't cause him to rock back, you might have got a shot off that pass.
Alden spins, looks for space, whips a shot, and scores! Andrew Alden, beneath a dejected Cooper Alloway, he got a piece of it, 5-hole again.
Yeah, it's a theme. You know, the thing about Alden is he is showing the lacrosse ability to go down the left alley left-handed and roll back right-handed, and that's how he's getting his stick free. Yeah, East Lyme right now is in triangles offense, and just triangle rotations. They're all ISO dodges. There are no picks, and they're looking to get the ball down the alley. The nice thing about triangle offense is it burns a lot of time.
And Wade needs to win the faceoff for Waterford, and nice job by Hart keeping it ugly. Ball still loose. Going to have some transition, scooped up by Foreign, and we're going to get a whistle and a timeout. Waterford will call timeout with 3 minutes and 8 seconds remaining. East Lyme 13, Waterford 12 in the ECC Boys Lacrosse Championship. The sports doctor is going to go eavesdrop in on the Waterford huddle and see what Coach Chris Landry has as a message for the final 3 minutes and 8 seconds. I think it's got to be get the ball to number 16 and to number 21 and let them, work their offensive magic.
Well, those are your shooters, and I would say right now Coach White is probably drawing up a defense that has it slightly tilted towards those two. So, Jacobson, Huda, Mason LaForte, something like that at this stage. You haven't gotten a lot of shots out of Mason LaForte. I'd be curious if they get a shot to him on this stage. I would, if I'm Coach White, I'm not letting those two sticks or those two shooters of Holdridge and Bowdish be free at this stage.
Yeah,
you just know too much.
That's right. As a coach, the rule number one is you don't let the other guy's best player beat you. So if there's nothing against Mason LaForte or Ryan Huda or any, but you know what? They're the ones that are going to have to beat me. If I'm coaching, I'm East Lyme, I'm Coach White. It's not going to be Bowdish and it's not going to be Holdridge. And I'm going to try real hard to not let it be Michael LaForte. But if Jacobson or Huda or Mason LaForte can get a shot off and beat my keeper against against my defense, then so be it. But it's not going to be the other guys. That's right.
Yeah, when you put your head on the pillow, you got trying to put your kids in the best position to produce a great defensive stand here.
What did Coach Landry have to say, Sports Doctor?
Yeah, Coach Landry is talking about his offense versus East Lyme's zone defense. Who's flashing, who's rotating, how they're going to flood the zone, where kids need to be, where do they need to be in positions to make quality shots, Casey. So the whole time out, he talked about their offense versus a zone defense. All
right, Sports Doctor, thank you very much. 3 minutes, 8 seconds remaining here in the ECC Championship. East Lyme 13-12 over Waterford. You're watching Game Day live on theday.com. Casey O'Neill along with the coach Ray LaForte, the sports doctor Keith O'Brien down on the sidelines of what has been an extremely entertaining, well-played, and competitive ECC Championship game. East Lyme, the defending champions, with a 1-goal lead over Waterford, who has tried to overcome the Vikings over the past few years and so far has come up short. Can they tie this one up?
So Waterford drops two ball carriers below the cage on the last spin. And they drop the second ball carrier below.
Up top now, Holdridge, 2.5 minutes remaining. Bowdish rips a shot, and a beautiful save by Brodeur. Out of the pack with it comes Walters for East Lyme. Ball loose, out of bounds, and it will be Waterford ball. Great save by Brodeur. Huge play by the sophomore with 2.5 minutes remaining.
Well, Brodeur got a good look at that. He was very squared up to Bowdish's shot. Waterford's probably going to have to spin the ball and rotate the ball more and get more touches. I mean, the theme really is you got to make Brodeur see the ball at X and then turn his body on the over ball where he can't get squared up.
Bowdish spins, checked. Mason Lafort looking, finds a cutting hold. Bowdish shot, a bounce shot, but a beautiful save again by Brodeur. Quick outlet to Alden. East Lyme in transition, looking to run under 2 minutes remaining, and they're going to eat some clock. Are the Vikings with a 1-goal lead? And a timeout, East Lyme. They want to set up the final 1 minute and 48 seconds of the ball game. Bowdish went to the well one more time on the bounce shot, but that time Brodeur was in position, squared up, and made the save for the Vikings. And now, Coach, with 1:48 remaining, East Lyme calls a timeout. As you said before, that's going to allow both teams to sort of set what they want to do. How does Waterford get the ball back in 1 minute and 48 seconds? What do they have to do defensively?
Well, you know, you're going to say to yourself, well, how long are the referees going to let the stall occur? It's probably going to be a minute. So if you extend right away off the settled ball, you could double it right now with 2 poles and see if you can get it on the ground from the jump. If you don't get it on the ground and you extend, you're going to give up really wide slides. So I'm going to try to double the ball right now. Coach White called the timeout. He let me set up my defense. Waterford had 2 middies just trapped on defense. I think East Lyme could have probably run the ball out right then and there, but maybe Coach White wasn't as confident with his 6 ball carriers at that stage. So if I'm Waterford, I think I have to get the ball on the ground right now.
On the other side of things, if you're East Lyme, what's the number one message here about ball security? You're right. You want to hold on to this ball. At the very least, no stupid passes, right? Nothing that allows Waterford quick transition.
If you're going to turn it over, you want to turn it over in your low corners where no one gets a number break at you. You don't want to turn it over here north of the 30-yard line and let somebody run on you. So that's a theme. You know, you want to carry the ball below, get it to the corner. If they double you and win the double in the corner, that's fine. They still have to go 90 yards.
Sports Doctor, what'd you hear in the East Lyme huddle?
Hey, Casey, Coach Gary White talked personnel. He talked scheme. He talked taking care of the ball and getting good quality shots. Let it rip if it's there. A lot of the kids in the huddle were talking, this is championship time. East Lyme does not want to let Waterford touch this ball and hopefully win another championship.
1:48 remaining, Sports Doctor, and I think that's East Lyme's goal right now is to not let Waterford have another possession in this game.
So Coach Landry's choosing here not to double the ball. He put Kevin Close on it, and he brought in Holdridge as a midi, and Holdridge is shutting off number 7, shutting off Belandis. But he's also hoping to get Holdridge in transition in the run.
Alden with the ball. Beautiful move that time on Close. Now over to help out is Lillis. Alden's going to hold the possession. 1:21. And Alden with the ball for East Lyme. Double teamed now finally. And the ball is loose. And Waterford will have the turnover. Quick transition it goes. Holdridge. And we're going to get a whistle and a timeout Waterford as they've retained possession. Now I am a lacrosse novice. But I got to tell you, from my amateur eyes, it looked like a really good opportunity. I had the ball in my best player's hands with space and transition. Now they're going to have an opportunity to set up the zone. So I don't know anything, but I got to say, and Coach Landry knows a lot more than I do. But just from a pure, novice standpoint, I might have let that one go a little bit. 1:11, I got to think, I got 30 seconds where I can let it go before I got to start thinking about calling set plays. I want to see how that transition plays out.
Well, they had a shot there at a 5v4. Actually, they might have had a shot at a 5v3 of Holdridge's legs out the midi, who's going to mark them, which probably over that space is likely. right? It might not happen in 5 yards. It might happen in 20. But Coach wanted to make sure that he got it clear, got it to his end. That's a second guesser right there. I guess that's why people pay the money to watch, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's worth $8 and a good cup of coffee.
Sports Doctor was down there. What Coach Landry have to say?
I don't think there's any secret here. They're going to try to find the ball in the stick of Loden Bowdish, Casey, and let him have one rip from his left-handed position. This is what a chess match between these two coaches down here. Winning time, Casey O'Neill, fourth quarter time.
All right, Holdridge with the ball for Waterford. He breaks up and he crosses midfield. Easy clear for Waterford now. They're going to look to set it up. Holdridge spins in the middle, has an opportunity, still on his feet, rips a shot, and it goes wide on a save by Brodeur. Lafort quickly to the ball. Waterford now under a minute remaining.
It's actually a nice shot by Holdridge. It was a little unsettled. The cage was backed up. And, you got to take a shot. And he went it low, wide, right pipe. And you know what? You take that shot every time.
Bowdish, Mason Lafort, back to Bowdish. He wants to get some space inside. Jacobson, ball loose, and a turnover. And Alden comes out of the pack for the Vikings. Crosses midfield. Great speed by Andrew Alden. Underneath it goes. Nice choice by Schaffner to go behind the net. Foregoing the shot. Waterford may not see the ball again. Alden with it. Waterford sending all kinds of defenders. And a hit on the ground and a turnover. Waterford has 13 and a half seconds in this ball game. Can they get one shot off?
So they're going to leg it up the field.
Under 10 seconds. Lafort, long pass, middle, bounce. Can Holdridge get it? He does. He loses it. Bowdish can't get it. Huda can't get it. Eastlyme retains. And the Eastlyme Vikings are again your ECC Boys Lacrosse champions, 13-12 in a classic.
Now about 13 seconds to go. Waterford trying to get the ball up the field quickly. Never gets off another shot. You've got to credit the Eastlyme coaching staff, and you got to credit the kids for listening. They did everything their coaches asked. They played a lot of situations very well, and just sort of put the brakes on Waterford's offense. They did a great job. Congratulations to Eastlyme. That's why they're the top dog in the region. They play big in the big games.
I love the sportsmanship shown by Waterford. The first thing they did is run down to the goal and pick up their freshman goalie, Cooper Alloway, and make sure he knew that, this isn't on you. That we win and lose together. Alloway was head down, dejected in the goal, but clearly the Waterford team feels good about their future with the freshman Alloway, and there's still a lot of talent on this Waterford team in the future, not the least of which is Caleb Holdridge coming back next year and playing in that goal-scoring capacity that he showed this year.
Well, and Coach White got to feel pretty good about James McCoy coming back, and his goalies are coming back, and Eastlyme's got a lot to build on. They're an outstanding team.
Now, both of these teams are going to be moving on into the state championship play, Class M. Waterford, the number 2 seed, is going to play the winner of Brantford and Law. And on the other side of things, Eastlyme is going to play Foreign. They are the 13 seed playing the 20. So Eastlyme, I got to think, is a very dangerous 13 seed in Class M.
Oh, they're a seasoned team. I mean, they can pick off a couple of teams as it goes and shakes out. I mean, the brackets are built around how many wins. So when you do that, Eastlyme, not as many wins as Waterford, but they've played the hands and they've played those high-end teams on the western side of the state. I got to see Hand play a week ago, and I saw them give up 5 goals to maybe one of the best teams in Massachusetts in Longmeadow, and Eastlyme scored 4. So Eastlyme scored as many goals versus Hand as one of the top teams in the state of Massachusetts.
To think about how good defensively Hand must be, watching this Eastlyme team that puts 13 up today, scoring only 4 goals, or how good is Fairfield Prep, who held them to 3 goals. But you look at the scores of the games against the really good teams, the Amities, the Xaviers, the scores come down. You see, 10-6 and 14-7, much closer than the 13-12 that we had here today. But both of these teams in position. Waterford, of course, made a run to the state championship last year. They got to feel like they got that in them again.
Well, clearly their run is much more difficult being in Class M. The difference for both these teams when they see those high-end teams, those top 3, 4, 5 teams on the western side of the state, is transitional play and goals in transition. East Lyme has a quality defense. They're hard to score on in settled sixes. Those other teams become very high-end with their defensive midfielders and their long stick middies, and they run the field and they produce shots and odd man breaks. And that is what high-end lacrosse is all about, getting to unsettled situations.
Well, congratulations to Coach Gary White and the East Lyme Vikings on another ECC Boys Lacrosse Championship. You see down the presentation of the championship trophy and the runner-up trophy to runners-up Coach Chris Landry and the Waterford High School Lancers. And the winner's trophy will go to Gary White and the East Lyme Viking boys. Of course, don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, because while we are in between games, the sports doctor Keith O'Brien will entertain you, and then it'll be rematch number 2 between the East Lyme girls. They will try to pull off the double-decker lacrosse championship like they did last year, but they'll have to overcome a game Stonington Bear girls team who they beat in last year's finals. So the second of 2 rematches, and that's quite an accomplishment for a school to be able to win championships in both boys and girls lacrosse. As you see, Andrew Alden, the senior for East Lyme, heads out to accept the championship trophy at midfield. A happy day here for the East Lyme boys.
Well, you mentioned both the East Lyme girls and boys being in the ECC championships. That's not a mistake. They have a youth program with a lot of people contributing, putting in a lot of time. They have that wonderful park, that Brybrook Park, and there are lacrosse goals as far as the eye can see down there. So you have a full commitment from kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade to be good at a sport. And you have to tip your hat and say, you guys do it right. And it's very commendable. There's so many people chipping in to give the kids in this town a great experience in the game of lacrosse.
Well, the sports doctor is down on the field with Coach Gary White, and we'll go down there in a moment. And I'm from an up-and-coming lacrosse community, a relatively newcomer to the lacrosse community, Colchester, where I live now. And I see the Bacon Academy boys and girls, both 4th and 3rd seed in the tournaments this year. So lacrosse, now as a baseball guy, bothers me a little bit because we're losing kids to lacrosse. But I love the game of lacrosse. So seeing more kids out there playing lacrosse is always good. And one of them might someday play for this man, champion Coach Gary White. Sports doctor, take it away.
Well, Gary White, back-to-back years in nail-biting fashion. The ebbs and flows of the game. What was the difference for your team?
I think the second half we picked things up a bit. We got a couple face-offs, and we got the energy. They were dominating the face-offs the first half, and as soon as we got a couple, we got some momentum going, and good, which we're getting cold.
There it is.
I knew that was going to happen again. I knew they were going to do it.
I saw it coming.
That feels pretty good, though, doesn't it?
I'll take it every day.
The consistency of the program, the group of seniors you've had come through in and out of here, it's got to speak volumes for the kids that have been part of East Lyme lacrosse.
Yeah, again, every year we talk about legacy, what we want to leave for the next generation of Vikings, and again, the seniors definitely stepped it up this season. They're passing the torch. We still got some games to play in the state tournament, but again, they're great leadership this season, and we're coming together at the right time.
How good is it for this league to have a rivalry like you do with Waterford?
Chris Landry does a fantastic job. He's a great friend, but when we get on the field, we compete, and he gets his program locked in and ready to go with every opponent. And it's great for us. It's great for DCC. And now this is over. We're wishing each other luck. Hopefully we don't see them again in the playoffs,
right.
But we're wishing them luck and everybody else in EC luck, and hopefully we can go far as a league.
Yeah, my last question is, are there any towels in the training room back there? Because I need one. Coach, good luck to you in the state tournament. Great win today.
Very much. Great team win. Thank you.
Thank you, sports doctor. Coach Gary White and the champion East Lyme Vikings boys. That's 2 years in a row. And you want to know why I want to stay up here in the booth? Because I'm nice and dry now with you, Coach. the sports doctor's taken a bath the last 2 years. But I was talking about how, I see lacrosse goals popping up all over the place in Colchester. Just had a huge lacrosse tournament this past weekend. So building a youth program so clearly vital to the success of high school. And obviously both of these towns, Waterford and East Lyme, have very strong youth programs. But what's interesting is that these are also places that have very strong baseball programs. And baseball and lacrosse often viewed as competitors in the spring. But the East Lyme Vikings boys, Waterford is baseball USA in the state of Connecticut. So it shows that there is room when you put together a quality program for both lacrosse and baseball to be successful at the high school level, because these teams have shown that you can be good in both. The Waterford High School boys baseball team is the class of the ECC. Their lacrosse team just needs to find a way to beat East Lyme to be right there with them. So I think the future is bright for lacrosse in the ECC. We talked about this last year. The ECC as a league starting to inch its way a little bit closer to some of the elite leagues around the state.
It just comes down to getting kids out and playing. So as the athletic directors look at it, as long as you have kids at the end of the school day getting out to a track, getting a stick in their hand, getting a bat in their hand and throwing a ball, that's success. You've got to get kids out doing this stuff. Being part of teams is a huge part of growing up. Working together, filling a role. Not everyone's going to be a star. Some will, some won't. Filling a role. There are a lot of vital parts to sports. So whether it's baseball, football, track, wrestling, getting them out. And I want to say, whoever runs the program, whether it's Gary White, whether it's Chris Landry, those people give up a lot of time, and they've got to put in a lot of passion because they are Pied Pipers for what they do and for the kids in the region. So those guys are vital, and that kind of leadership. So in order for East Lyme baseball and Waterford baseball to be good, they got to have somebody beat the drum. And, all these towns have really amazing people that show up every day and put in some long hours for the kids to put together quality programs. Because it shows up. No matter what the program is and what the game is, you can identify with quality. And kids want to be a part of that. So as you get them out to play and the participation is high and the quality is high, everyone's winning.
So now, as a coach who's also a father, what do you do to go home tonight? And how do you approach kids who just played their hearts out and lost? I mean, East Lyme's got a whole other conversation going on tonight. How do you approach the LaForte boys today off of a tough loss like this?
Well, in sports, there's only one way to approach competition, and that you've got to put it all on the line, and you've got to put your heart out there for your brothers and your sisters on your team. Now, once you get mentally to that point where you're putting everything on the line for your teammates, there's a chance you're going to get your heart broken. It's sort of like falling in love. If you don't do it, you never really become a team. So that's the risk, right? You've got to put it on the line for your brothers and your sisters in the sport that you're committed to. If you don't, and there's no sting to the loss, then there's also no savoring the win. So I think it stings. It hurts. The beauty is you get to go to school tomorrow, and you got to go to practice tomorrow afternoon. You wash it out of your mouth. You pick up your stick. You pick up your bat and your ball, and you go at your mistakes, and you go at it hard. I think that's the challenge, and that is the sell of the quality coach. So Coach Landry, he's going to have a tough night too. He wanted to win. He's going to have to lean on Beth Landry tonight a little bit. And then she tells him to pick up the bootstraps, and he goes to work tomorrow, and he goes back to the drawing board. He looks at the film. You address the mistakes because that's what good coaches do. And you move on because you're getting ready for state games. So, and then you know what else you do? You enjoy coaching your seniors for the last couple of games because pretty soon you're going to shove them off to graduation, and you got to savor it. So, to me, committing your heart and putting it all on the line is the part of sports. It's dangerous. Not everyone wants to put their heart into it like that, but it's never really worth it unless you do it.
Coach, that's an excellent point as a coach and certainly a message as a father. I look back more years than I care to count at my sports career, and I to share this with my son all the time, that as much as I love to tell stories about the victories, the memories and the stories of the losses are more impactful, and I look back at them almost more fondly now than the many of the wins. My son asks all the time for sports stories, and he asks why I always share stories where we lose. But it's because I look back now and exactly what you just said. How my brothers on the baseball field responded, and how the camaraderie and closeness you get over time. The wins and losses tend to blend together. It's more about that you gave all of yourself for someone else or for a group of other people. That's a great message for kids out there, and it's also a great message for parents to hear when the process is more important than the outcome, and focusing on the outcome all the time. That should be the outcome. The outcome should be the process, not the final score, so to speak. My son said, "I know wins and losses don't matter." No, of course they matter. They absolutely matter. You're playing to try to win, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be the ultimate outcome. The ultimate outcome can be exactly what you just talked about, the sort of something much bigger than a result.
Well, I just think when you put that much into the win, and it's only about it, it gets hollow. It's about the team and the commitment and striving for excellence. You're always going to talk and work to the win, and obviously the teams that win more maybe smile a little more, but I think the process really matters.
Well, the process tonight led us to get, we did something new ourselves, getting you in the booth and kicking the sports doctor down to the sideline. I, for one, didn't miss him at all. Turning to my left and seeing you, Coach, was a welcome addition. But we really do want to thank you and wish you nothing but the best of luck. I'm going to bring the sports doctor back in, and he's going to wrap us up. And we're going to prepare for part 2. 20 minutes from now, the Stonington High School girls and the East Lyme High School girls will do battle in their own rematch. And East Lyme will try for the second year in a row to win championships in both boys and girls lacrosse. Now, we were talking a little bit earlier, you and the sports doctor were, about the NESCAC and my Wesleyan Cardinals. Lacrosse life good in Wesleyan in Cardinal land right now?
I just voted for Coach Rabba as the East Region IMCLA Coach of the Year. They went up to RIT, beat a team that was 20-0 on the road. RIT scoring like 18 goals a game. They had beaten teams 22-3, moved the ball incredibly, and Wesleyan just went toe-to-toe. And RIT wound up scoring 13 goals in the last 9 minutes.
Wow.
And Wesleyan still found the way to get one more. So I'm rooting for the Cardinal on Sunday over in Gillette Stadium. They play Salisbury State. And they've never won a national championship. And it would just be really nice to see Coach Rabba and his staff and those kids take it home here. I think we play great lacrosse here in the Northeast and small college lacrosse. And it's just really, they're representing our whole region just fantastically.
Well, I'll have to put on my alumni sweatshirt on Saturday and root for my Cardinals. Coach Ray Lafort, thank you very much. I'm going to bring the sports doctor in, and he's going to transition you over here as we await Game 2 of the ECC Lacrosse Championships.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Casey. I'll get Ray Lafort to stick around for about 5 more minutes or so before we cut him loose. And again, it was a great, great game. I am soaking wet from the Gatorade bath, back-to-back years. The sports doctor got splashed. If you're out there listening and you're tuned in here on Game Day on theday.com with Casey O'Neill, the sports doctor, and the coach just hanging out for a few more minutes, and we'll talk some sports. We'll talk a little college sports, we'll talk a little professional sports, a little Coast Guard football, too, while I wait Jenna Tuccio coming in. She will be the guest announcer for the girls' game. She's the head field hockey coach at Stonington and the girls lacrosse coach at Fitch. So Coach Tuccio's got a little bit of swag on under her belt too. So she'll come in and help us out with the girls' game. A quick baseball score: Waterford has beaten Griswold 10-3 in the first semifinal game for the ECC. They will await the winner of Ledyard and East Lyme That game is just underway over at Waterford High School. 7 o'clock first pitch, I do believe. So Waterford has advanced to the ECC final, and you can hear that final and see that final here on aday.com. And on game day, we'll bring you first pitch action about 7:05 tomorrow. We'll go on air about 7. So, again, the continuing coverage of sports in southeastern Connecticut. Well, Coach, what a great game. I don't think there's a not left, to be said about it that you guys had already talked about. But and again, it's I think what you had made a point that these are two good, improved teams from last year. Both teams, and this was a different brand of field hockey, but just a high quality sporting event.
Well, it's just the level of competition and the level of intensity that both sets of teams came out. Everything was contested. Kids played hard. Kids played clean.
Yeah.
And there were no cheap shots in the game. Every ground ball was a physical battle, and it was good lacrosse. It's fun to watch. Whether you're a dad or not, it's a fun game to watch.
I was on the sidelines. It was action packed. It's very emotional down there too. Boy, the kids get fired up. Coaches get fired up. It gets a little physical. It gets a little chippy. It's got all the makings of a tremendous sport. So it's again the wraps on it, and they move on to into state tournaments. I want to shift gears a little bit here and talk about what's going on with you. Again, Coast Guard graduation was yesterday. You were there. You had a chance to perform or partake in some of the evening festivities as well. 2018 now is come and gone. Now, how would you assess, the year for the kids on an academic level, on an athletic level, a little bit of everything? How was 2018 this year at Coast Guard?
Well, from a lacrosse perspective, it was as good as it gets, with the exception of winning the NUMAC championship. Roster's getting bigger. We'll be towards 50 next year. We lose 3 seniors this year. There were 3 really. They're really the plank owners of the lacrosse program. They're the first class. The 3 seniors were the first class to play only NCAA lacrosse.
Yeah.
A lot of commitment. I mean, I took the guys out for dinner last week before they graduated, and they were the most astounded at the level of the new kids coming in, the game-ready freshmen that we played. We played 6 freshmen in the NUMAC final, and just got great contributions from the younger kids on our roster. So I just think we have a lot of balance, and it's just a really exciting time.
I think it's an exciting time for all sports at Coast Guard. I mean, the girls' basketball team qualified for the NUMAC tournament this year. The football team had some growing pains and some injuries, but I think if you look at athletics as a whole this year at the Academy, things are on the rise.
Well, I think that the one that strikes me the most, because I had coached track at Coast Guard for 15 years, getting All-Americans at the NCAA level in track is hard.
Yeah.
Coast Guard Academy had 9 kids make All-American this year. 2 relays, finished top 7. And then we had one more. We had Caitlin Mooney, who's at the national championships this week. I think they're out at Ohio Wesleyan, at Wisconsin Lacrosse. She's out there again. She's vying to be an All-American for the 3rd time as a freshman. I had coached a hurdler at Coast Guard named Adam Scalesi, who was a 6-time All-American in the hurdles. Caitlin Mooney's looking for her 3rd All-American credential in her freshman year. I think she's going to run the 5K at this championship.
How about your guy Darius Adams? He did some good work on the track as well, did he not?
Well, he won the national championship last year.
Right.
In a range-shortened long jump. He actually got off his big jump as the rain was coming down, and then no one else could really get a good mark.
Right.
And he won the national championship. I mean, to win the national championship in an individual event in track. I mean, when you get to the national championship track meet, the level of athlete that is walking around, I mean, you can't help but just go, these kids, this is the top 1% of athletes in the country. I mean, you're looking at 17-foot pole vaulters.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just off the charts stuff.
Yeah. So when do you personally have time to decompress a little bit? You come out of lacrosse season to come out of your year. When is there a break for you before you start rolling back into football and running the offensive show over there?
Coach George and I talked football today for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's about as much as I could handle today. If I would have sat down, I know Bill would have talked football for 4 hours.
That's Bill. That's Coach George, is it not?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a passion.
Yeah.
I just got my best night's sleep 2 nights ago. It's like I'm sort of getting back into the rhythm of the house. I just said to someone at graduation yesterday, the energy to coach the 2 sports, because you have to give all the athletes you're around the energy.
You'd be selling them short if you didn't.
It's part of the gig, and I'm a pretty emotional guy, and I'm a high energy guy. So I think that the recovery period for me as I approach 50, it's getting a little longer. My wife had a to-do list, and I said to her, just give me a week. And it's unfortunate for her, it's been 2 weeks.
Also, you're going to get around to a coach. That's all right. She's all right. I mean, she's busy, too. I mean, she's got training and stuff like that. And, she's got her gig as well. So, I mean, but it's I'm excited. I know you don't want to talk football, but I'm excited for next year for other reasons. But, I get pumped up for that kind of stuff. That's for sure.
We have a good crew of kids at the academy in the weight room for football. We have about 65 kids. We're bringing in about another 25. I think our roster is going to push towards 80 with football. It sounds like a big number, but the elite programs are at 110. You sort of need that to run a great practice from an offensive and defensive perspective. We have a lot of kids who attended prep school who are now in the mix. We look to have a nice running game this fall. Very exciting.
What was that, Coach? Running game?
Yep, we have a
wow.
We have a couple of kids who are very good inside runners, and Ryan Jones really came on. He got the last 5 starts last year, and really came on and gave us a great showing in the Kings Point game on ESPN.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I mean, I'm looking forward to it, and should be a great year down there. And we'll listen. I just wanted to say thanks for Casey and and the rest of the guys here. And again, back-to-back years with your expertise and your tutelage. Tremendous job, and good luck to your boys with Waterford High School as they advance on into the state tournament, Coach.
Thanks so much for having me. Total pleasure.
All right.
Pleasure.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. Ray LaForte. I mean, these guys just he bails us out left and right over here. We bring back Casey O'Neill in about 10.5 minutes to go before Game 2 here on Game Day, today.com, as our bright sunny day is now almost in a fog a little bit.
It is. It's foggy, and I got to tell you, every time I think I know a little bit more about lacrosse, a coach sits next to me, and I get reminded just how little I know. That man knows.
Yeah, he knows his stuff. He knows football too. He knows everything. I mean, it's almost unfair to some of the coaches. It's almost unfair to some of the coaches because he sees everything. Yeah.
So he's like, on that play there was a 2-on-1. But I told him the best part about the gig is we stay dry up here in the
Are you? I mean, did you enjoy the Gatorade dump on me once again, or did you know it was coming?
Oh, I told him before the game. No matter what, we
got
to make sure we dump the Gatorade on the sports dock.
Well, I tell you what a game that first game was, and again, it goes back to the competitive spirit. Last year's game, and and 2 teams that one team who was kind of owned the ECC a little bit. And another team was trying to make their mark, but it was tremendous. I tell you, the other thing too is you don't realize how physical it is when you're no, you don't, because you're sitting up here behind the glass. Yeah. I'm down on the sidelines. Extremely fast-paced, extremely physical. So we got about 9.5 minutes to go before Game 2. Keith O'Brien, the sports doctor, Casey O'Neill, waiting our special guest for Game 2. She's about ready to come in and help us out a little bit. Case, let's talk a little national sports now. We'll turn things back over to the local stuff. Did you watch Game 4-5 last night?
I did, and someone's going to have to explain to me why basketball is the only sport where the home court means this much. Hockey doesn't have that same problem. Football has.
Our road team won last night in hockey.
Football doesn't have that problem anymore. Certainly, baseball should, unlike these others, because of batting last.
Yeah.
Makes it a prohibitive favorite in baseball. But I mean, are the baskets different? Are they higher on the road than they are?
It was a different team. Would you agree?
It's completely. I mean, in 3 games at home, the Celtics have looked like a team capable of challenging for a championship. In the 2 games on the road, they look like a team that couldn't beat East Lyme with Dev Ostrowski next fall.
I think the kids, when I call them kids, obviously, when Jalen Brown and Tatum and Marcus Smart, I think they just feel better at home. They're more confident at home. And I thought LeBron James last night was terrible. If he was tired, his body language, I really don't care to hear that. I mean, you're going to go out and play ball, you're going to play ball. They never said those things about I'm not going to bring his name up, about Michael Jordan or stuff like that. But I think there's LeBron's going to have to come a time in Boston, probably in Game 7, because I think Cleveland will win Game 6, where he's going to have to, if not LeBron deliver, but the rest of the guys too. The rest of the guys didn't show up last night.
No, that's
been the
difference, yeah.
But he's handpicked that roster. He has handpicked that roster and that coach, so he's got to kind of live with that.
I make no secret about the fact that I am a huge LeBron fan.
Too much.
I think LeBron, I'll always be Jordan, but I think LeBron's the second best player in the history of the NBA. I don't think we've ever seen anybody take as much onto his shoulders as he has, and able to take me, you, and 2 guys that work at Citgo and bring them to a final. But this is the first time this year where I've been a little frustrated with him. The body line, everyone else is tired too. They've all played. They're all playing the same thing you are. Yeah. And the one thing I've never been able to say about him is that he didn't give effort. He's a notorious, chase the ball down, block the shot.
He
couldn't even get over it. No, he was terrible. He was terrible, and it won't kill his legacy, because his legacy is pretty set. But if you're a LeBron fan, that's an incredibly disappointing ending to last night.
Will there be a Game 7?
Yes.
Who will win Game 7?
The Celtics are going to win Game 7, although that's going to be the close one. What's going to be fascinating in Game 7 is the unbeatable home court advantage of the Celtics versus the sheer will of LeBron in a Game 7.
Yeah, I'll take the home team.
I'll take the home team too. But the Celtics have not shown that they could beat anyone on the road right now.
No.
The only game they've won on the road was against
Game
Philadelphia,
3, right?
when Ben Simmons truthfully scored as many points as I believe you could score in an NBA final.
2 points he scored.
I believe in an NBA game you could score 2 points.
I'm fit. I can jump. I can rise up. I can knock it down.
I think you could.
Real quick, about 6 minutes to go here before our second game, we'll turn things over to Casey. Who wins Game 5 tonight?
Golden State's not going to lose again. Golden State's going to win the last 2 games in a row here, and they're going to
finally something you and I agree on.
Yeah,
120%.
Yeah, I think that last loss there was a little bit of a wake up to them. I think they go steal one, and then I think they go home and win it, or the other way around, I should say. And they're going to win it at home and then go out and steal it there, whatever direction it's in, that one.
I'm going to dry off, get on the sidelines, and let you set things up for Game 2 as the Vikings and the Bears are down there on the field warming up. I give you Mr. Casey O'Neill.
Well, who's responsible for the upgrade in my broadcast partner here, though? All right, we're gonna bring in. Now I'm gonna have to do some adjusting here because the sports doctor isn't loud enough. Spot you up here. All right, so we are 5 minutes remaining here before game number 2, the East Lyme Vikings girls and the Stonington High School girls in the second half of our ECC Championship doubleheader. Game 1, of course, won by East Lyme 13-12 over the Waterford Lancers. And tonight, Game 2 of our special rematch doubleheader from last year. And just like in the first game where Coach Ray Lafort was kind enough to come and pay us a visit, we've got the coach. Coach Tuccio here tonight to help us guide through the ECC girls. Welcome to the booth, and thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Now my producer is letting me know that my microphone needs to be right near my mouth. So it is our pleasure to have you. Thank you very much. The first game tonight, East Lyme repeated as champions in a classic one-goal game against Waterford. And now tonight, East Lyme girls hoping that they can accomplish the same thing and bring back-to-back championships to the school. Dropped about 30 degrees, I feel like, since I got here for the beginning of Game 1.
Yeah, the temperature's been dropping dramatically since the middle of the day. It was, low 70s, beautiful. And now it's a little overcast, a little chilly, but they'll heat it right up out there on the field.
Right now, the officials are taking a look at the sticks of both teams, making sure that the sticks are legal, that the ball sits appropriately above the rim of the stick in the carriage. See how much I've learned?
Very good. Yeah, the ball has to sit over the, has to at least break the plane of the sidewall and move freely along the back of the stick. So they're checking to make sure everybody's legal and ready to go.
I learned, I don't know if you had the opportunity to see mine and Keith's foray into girls lacrosse.
At Montville. I did see that. Yes, I did. It was quite entertaining.
And you can see I clearly had a future as a high school girls lacrosse player 30 years ago. But the level of athleticism that I witnessed that day, I mean, we see it on the field. Now, Montville is going through a rough year. I mean, they're struggling this year. And yet the talent and athleticism on with that group was more than surprising. They were fast and skilled and physical, and in a game that gets sort of I don't say knocked for not being physical, the girls' game of lacrosse, there's a remarkable amount of physicality in the game.
Absolutely. There's a lot more than you realize. There's a lot more contact than people really sometimes even recognize, and the ability, like you said, the athleticism and that's needed to play the sport and to control the ball, and the skill set you need to have while still, trying to withstand some of that physicality. It's a tough game. It's not an easy or a game for the faint of heart. That's for sure.
The things that have most stood out to me as we learned from the girls' side, with the sticks being so vastly different, the pocket of the stick being virtually non-existent.
Sure.
Cheater sticks, as I was told them over. The boys use the cheater sticks. But it really placed an emphasis on fundamental stick handling, cradling. There's no amount of cradle drills that you can do to sort of help understand just how delicate the stick is on the girls' side of things. So the ability to create offense really needs to rely on precision. You can't get away with some of the boys who just sort of rely sometimes on athleticism. They don't make the sharpest of passes, knowing that their sticks can hold them, and they kind of just fire shots whenever they can get near the net. The girls' game, not quite the same with their approach to offense.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of precision in just possessing the ball, just keeping the ball on your stick. So running an offense requires a lot of stick handling, a lot of ball control, and there's a lot more unforced errors in girls lacrosse because of that. The difficulty of maintaining possession of that ball.
Just running with the ball in your stick
Just running with it
is enough sometimes to dislodge the ball. I mean, it's definitely different. The checking rules, of course, being very different as well. Learning a lot about what the girls are allowed to do and not allowed to do. I think the misconception that you can't check, because in fact you can.
Oh, absolutely.
And maybe you can explain a little bit more about the circumference around the head and where you are allowed to check and not allowed to check.
Sure, right. I mean, it's all about safety. So we're looking at the space between the girls' shoulders and then straight up, and that extends all around the head. So it's about the width of the shoulders, and we call it the sphere. And the stick check has to be completely outside of that sphere. So you cannot come through that at any point in the check, whether it's on the foreswing, on the contact, or on the follow through. So that stick, the defender's stick, has to stay completely out of that sphere. So we don't want that stick anywhere near the girl's face, her head, or also we don't want them contacting the stick so that it hits themselves, hits the player back in their own head with their own stick. So we're really conscious of trying to protect the head and the shoulders and hopefully keep the game away from helmets.
Absolutely, and I talked a little bit about the possibility of the girls' game moving that direction, and boy, were they opposed to that conceptually. The physicality of the girls' game. I think most that I've talked to like where girls lacrosse is, and feels that as the speed and skill of the girls continues to increase, that preventing them from becoming sort of a mirror of the boys' game, it's not a bad thing.
The girls it's not the same game. It's a different game. It's a finesse game. It's a game of very high stick skills, soft hands on receiving, sharp, quick hands, stick work. And the boys' game is more of a power game. It's more of a physical game. We are not the boys' game. They are not the girls' game. And we like that finesse. We like that pretty element. We like to see those stick handling skills. We like to see those beautiful ball skills. People go to see the boys' game for the physicality, and they come to see the girls' game for the finesse of it. So we'd like to preserve that as much as we can, and that relies on the girls' game staying safe and coaches coaching their athletes to play within the boundaries of the rules and to learn the skills appropriately and and develop their players so that they can play safely and effectively. And we're a different game than the boys' game, and we like to keep it that way.
Well, we saw a fantastic game here between East Lyme and Waterford on the boys' side of things, and now we are prepared to switch it over to the girls' side of things. And again, a rematch of last year's final, which East Lyme won. And a lot of the faces and players on these two teams are repeating themselves. East Lyme, of course, led by many, many talented players. And maybe the most important one, Maya Rose, the junior goalkeeper last year. She was instrumental in their winning the championship. We are going to take a pause for our national anthem, and when we come back on the other side, we'll talk a little bit about the matchup. And we are ready, and we are, as always, joined down on the sidelines by the third member of tonight's broadcast. He's normally my partner, and boy, did I upgrade in this relationship. Sports Doctor.
Boy, Casey, you are in rare form, and the game has not even started. A little bit of a different feel down here on the sidelines as opposed to the first game tonight. They're very subdued. I think two teams very, very focused. Again, one team it's been trying to climb the ladder and get over the hump in the Stonington Bears, and another group is very, very confident in the East Lyme Vikings. And my question to Coach is, Coach, how tough is it to actually get to play for a championship in girls lacrosse?
It's very difficult. We have two divisions in lacrosse this year. You have to win your division. So East Lyme won Division 1, which is the larger schools. There's only 4 schools. And then the Division 2 is the remaining 10 or 11 schools in the ECC. And so Stonington won that division. Well, actually, they shared the title with Bacon and Woodstock. So that's how you get in. You have to win your division and be the next 2 best records. So it's a tough race. I mean, there were a lot of teams right up there. We were scraping. Fitch, we were scraping to get in. I know NFA was scraping to get in. There's a lot of people working hard to get in here. It's really tough. You've got to have very few losses.
It's interesting, Coach, because similar to the first game, Stonington with a better record of the two teams. East Lyme plays such a competitive out-of-conference schedule. Stonington rolling in 13-4, winners of their last 5 games. And in order for them to advance, they had to beat Woodstock Academy, the 3 seed, and East Lyme, of course, beat Bacon Academy to get here as well. But Stonington is clearly the underdog despite a 13-4 record. East Lyme, much like their boys, with a tremendous out-of-conference schedule that helps prepare them for the elite.
Right. Those SEC games they play are so tough. I mean, that's a great conference, and they have 6 games, I believe, with the SEC conference, and it really helps prepare them for the state tournament. So their record is not exactly indicative of the level of play that you're going to see here tonight for East Lyme.
And a quick draw win by the Vikings. Quickly on the offense, right in front. And a beautiful save by Alexis Scott, the senior goalie of Stonington. Carly Rowe, the goal scorer, right in front. But a nice job by Scott on the save. Run up the middle from Woviotis. Lexi Woviotis now dishes off, and Stonington will make its first offensive voyage into the game. Straight up the middle now for Stonington. Offensive opportunity in front. A shot and a goal. Catherine Casada with the first goal of the game for Stonington. She beats Maya Rose, and a quick 1-0 lead for the Bears.
Stonington goal by number 4, Cass Casada.
Quesada that time sort of untouched up the middle, Coach.
That was a nice transition by the Bears, great save by the goalie, quick transition right up to Woviotis in the middle there, and then they went right on to attack. No settled offense right through that fast break, and a nice shot by Quesada. That was a nicely done transition and a nice quick attack on offense.
Kate Johnson and Olivia Ficini on the draw for Stonington and East Lyme, respectively. It's not a face-off, it's a draw. I learned how hard it is. Equal stick pressure. Sticks have to be parallel to the ground, and the draw is won by Stonington, Lexi Woviotis, and she quickly dishes off, and Stonington heads in for its second offensive possession right up the middle. Sabadini, and she'll kick it back along to her teammate Pratt, and Stonington will set up. Defensively, Coach, is this a straight man-to-man from East Lyme?
Yeah, it looks like they're playing man-to-man. They have a lot of help defense in the middle there. They'll crash in the 8-meter if anybody tries to challenge there. But Stonington's moving the ball very quickly, so you can see those cutters moving. You can see East Lyme staying with them 1v1. So it looks like they're in man right now.
And we're going to get a whistle, and it's going to be East Lyme ball out of the goal. Rose with a nice long outlet pass, and sprinting is Christensen straight up the middle. Sarah Christensen showing some speed from her midfield position up ahead. She throws it in, and a run for the Vikings, crashing on Scott behind the net. It goes, and a little quick return in the middle.
That's tough.
Shot, and a beautiful point-blank shot by Carly Rowe went wide left. Counter for the Vikings. In the middle it goes to Bates, and a steal, or excuse me, a block.
Block there.
And Bates recovers, however, for East Lyme. Bates now loses
nice
it again.
check there.
Beautiful check from Quesada. Catherine Quesada straight up ahead, passes it off to Logel, trying to get on the attack, and we'll have a whistle that'll stay. Bears ball. Now, there's definitely more whistles in the girls' lacrosse game than there are in the boys' lacrosse game. Is that a function of rules, or is that a function of the style of play?
Yeah, because that contact was not legal. That was he probably called a push or a hold or something in the midfield there. There was some initial contact out of the back transition, and then there was another contact, so they're going to blow the whistle and let Stonington have a free play there. There really isn't supposed to be body-to-body contact in the transition area. So you can't push, you can't hold them. So they'll watch and see how much contact's being made, and if they feel like it's too much or it's repeated, then they're gonna blow it up.
Great defense on Sabadini. She dishes back off to Logel, and behind the net, Stonington will make a run. Katie Johnson looking for some room. Great defense by the Vikings. They double team. Out it goes to Quesada, and a nice effort that time, and a steal by Agbayani. Laura Agbayani anticipated the pass, made the steal, dishes off to Hannah Geller. And Geller on a run now for East Lyme, showing good speed through the midfield. Geller unopposed to the 20, kicks it to Rowe. Rowe in the middle, looking for one extra pass, can't do it, tries to find space.
Through.
Oh, and we're going to get a whistle and an offensive foul, it looks like. And looks like it's going to be the Stonington Bear ball. Yeah,
Stonington did a nice job of establishing good field position there. Legal guarding position in front of the attacker who tried to push through, so that's going to go Stonington's way right there. Oh, nope, they had a conversation and they changed their call.
So it's going to be East Lyme possession here. Good scoring opportunity. Rowe with the ball. Scott lines up for Stonington. Rowe passes, quick shot in the middle, in front. And a nice save again by Alexis Scott, as Caroline Healy had a great look but couldn't put it into the net. And a nice job in the early going, the senior Alexis Scott, stout for the Bears. A beautiful outlet pass that time all the way to Quesada. Quesada now running through the midfield, crosses midfield. Ficini trying to check her. Quesada heading towards goal. Numbers for Stonington. Lamb got rid of it now. Feliciano, and behind the net, Stonington with another opportunity in front. A shot.
Oh,
and a nice save by Rose. In front, quick shot, and
beautiful
a goal.
Quick stick.
Emma Sabadini with the goal right in front puts the Bears on top 2-0.
They do that really well. We just played them for the second time last week, and they pick up those rebounds really quickly. Any ball that's on that goal circle, if they've got a cutter coming, quick feed, quick stick shot, you'll notice the Quesada there. The ball was only in her stick for a split second and right in the back of the net. So Stonington does that very well.
Here in the early going, the speed of Stonington clearly apparent. Their offensive skill players really coming into play. Stonington with Casada and Pratt really working in front, and Sabadini with the beautiful goal for the Bears, and a 2-0 lead. And the next draw now will be taken, and this is explain that this is what we're seeing now. It's not the face-to-face draw.
Sure. So there's a couple different directions. You can either push or pull with your stick, and this Lexi looks like she's going left side here to get just a different feel on the ball, different pull on the stick. As long as your stick is facing the correct direction, okay, so the front of your stick has to face the goal, your own goal that you're defending. So as long as your stick is facing the correct way, your body can be on either side of the stick.
And in front, there we go. Yeah. Straight ahead now on the run for East Lyme. Christensen with good wheels. All the way to goal. Pass in front. She was looking for Healy and overshot her out of bounds, and it will be Stonington ball. Our producer, Peter Wappy, needed to come in and make a couple of technical adjustments because I was not loud enough. And that's almost never the case. Sports Doctor, you got something you want to say?
Well, I think you turned the mic down when I was on it, so you try to keep me in check a little bit. But Coach is right. The speed early here for Stonington has given East Lyme troubles, especially in transition, Casey.
Yeah, the absolute – and Sports Doctor, let me just say that you are right. You are absolutely right. The speed of East Lyme right now has to adjust because Stonington is beating them right now to the spots they want on the offensive end. Here's an important possession now, Coach. East Lyme off the side with Healy, one of their primary scorers, Kristen Healy, along. She's the sophomore. Caroline Healy, of course, the veteran senior. Now Bates in front now for the Vikings. She tries to dump it inside to Ficini.
Great defense there by the Bears.
Ficini is so strong, however. She is an absolute beast with the ball in front. Beautiful pass. Rowe in front, and she scores. Beautiful look from Ficini to Carly Rowe, and the Vikings are on the board. 2-1, Stonington, 19-16 remaining here in the first period.
East Lyme goal by number 3, Carly Rowe, assisted by number 18, Hannah Geller.
Geller with the assist that time for East Lyme. And we'll see Ficini come out of the game, and going in for East Lyme will be Anna Johnson, and she will do the draw for the Vikings. And Katie Johnson will do the draw, so it's a Johnson and Johnson draw out at midfield. Sticks parallel, equal pressure. I'm learning. The official will blow the whistle, and a beautiful win that time for the Vikings. But good defense on the other side by Stonington.
Yep. Working to another good check. Oh, no, they're going to blow that one up.
Too high on the stick. Up contact made up high.
There was probably somewhere in the process of that check, the stick came into her sphere. Whether it was on the follow through or on the process of checking, they didn't like it, so they called it back.
Stonington will methodically run the offense now. Sabadini over the middle to Casada. Casada goes long pass to Logel, and a quick switch to Johnson as Stonington very methodical. Johnson makes a run. Nice defense by East Lyme and a steal. Ball batted around, though, and Stonington looks like they're going to maintain possession. Those ground balls are so difficult to pick up in traffic.
And you can see, like we were talking about before, how difficult it is to hang on to that ball. It is not an easy thing to do. There's not much pocket there, and they're moving at quite a bit of speed. They're running into brick walls in the defense in there, and that ball, it's really tough to keep it in the pocket.
Agbayani comes out of it. She's knocked to the ground, loses the ball. Ball loose on the turf. Who's going to come up with it? Pushing, shoving, and out of the pack comes Stonington, but we'll get a whistle, and it will be looks like it's going to be East Lyme possession, or are we going to have
East Lyme ball?
East Lyme will bring it in with Geller now. She turns, heads up midfield, so quick. She gets on the head of Johnson, and we're going to get a push on Johnson. Now, shouldn't that just be a play on? We don't let play ons occur in girls?
It definitely disrupted her stride. If she was able to continue on her path without much disruption, they probably would have let her go. But it really knocked her off her stride there, and they're going to give her an advantage.
Oh, right in front on the stick of Healy. She can't control it. Now Rowe fighting for the ball as it heads towards the end line, and the official will blow the whistle. And it will stay East Lyme ball. And Rowe will inbound. There she goes to Geller.
Ooh.
Up cutting by Healy. Healy on goal, puts it in,
Yep.
and she scores. Caroline Healy ties the game at 2 with 17:01 remaining in the first.
A little up and under. She gets by her, gets goal side, and sneaks right up on the goalie there. It was a nice play by Healy.
Nice rebound effort by the Vikings. That's why they are the class of the ECC, down quickly 2-0. They turned the volume up on the defense and are now tied at 2, sort of taking the punch from Stonington and then responding with one of their own. And we will have the draw with 17:01 remaining in a 2-2 game. Official holds the sticks, and we are ready to go with the draw. Up it goes, neutral draw. Who's going to win and retain this one?
It's a tough one.
Nice Stonington on the ball. Nice job by Johnson. She spins, however. She's hit.
Quickly.
Nice defense by Ficini.
Yeah, quickly swarmed there. They got 3 or 4 girls ready to swarm her there. Definitely, like you said, they're up in their intensity on the defense.
On the run now, Hannah Lamb for Stonington. Lamb straight up the middle. She has some room, looks the dish, makes a fake. In front, it goes to Logel. Nice defense recovery by East Lyme. Behind the net, Sabadini to Casada. Casada looking for some room, checked nicely, splits the defense, fires a shot,
Nice shot.
and scores! Catherine Casada with her second of the game puts the Stonington Bears back on top, 3-2, with 16-17 remaining in the first.
So you'll see you can see there's a lot of contact out there. You know, they're not going to whistle everything. But like we talked about before, there is contact in this game. You're going to see a lot of bodies together, and you know, they're just going to look to see if there's an advantage gained or if it's dangerous. Otherwise, they're going to try to give the advantage to the attacking team if they can.
What do you think in Sports Doctor?
I'm thinking the high stick cradle by Casada and then letting it fly has got to be to her advantage, Coach. She had a lot of momentum on that shot headed into goal.
Yeah, real quick hands, long pull, high velocity shot. That's tough. Her shot is real tough to stop.
Stonington trying to come out of the pack with it with Detweiler, and it's controlled by Johnson. Johnson swarmed on by East Lyme. Some nifty footwork. Nice long pass. It goes up ahead and controlled by Pratt. Pratt loses it, however, coming out the other end. Anna Johnson for East Lyme. Anna Johnson on a run in the middle. She looks for Healy. Healy shoots, and a beautiful save from Alexis Scott. Carly Rowe has possession for the Vikings. Up ahead she goes to Abigail Mountain. Behind the net, and rotation, Healy in front. Bounces off. Ficini loses it. Retained by Reel. In front, now behind the net it goes. On a little run is Counter. Counter turns and she scores. Maeve Counter ties us up at 3 with 15-16 remaining in the first.
Little crease roll there. Through the double team, she was still able to get her shot off, put it to the goalie's non-stick side. That's a tough save to make on that opposite stick side for the goalkeeper.
Is it me, or are we scoring a lot of goals here, Coach?
It's 3-3, 10 minutes into the game. I would say no.
I'm looking at the
What do you
scores of
think?
these games. I'm seeing 6-5, 10-7. You know, this right now is on pace for, 18 goals apiece?
You're asking me to do math at this time of night,
I'm
Casey?
sorry. My apologies. Sports Doctor, you got the number.
Stop. Why are you even putting math equations together back there, Casey?
I'm sorry.
The shootout. Just call it a shootout.
Call me tomorrow morning, and I'll answer that for you.
Rowe loses the ball. Nicely done. Sabadini stripped her. She dumps it off, and a nice transition. Casada, ground ball. She loses it. East Lyme steps up. Ball loose. We're going to get a whistle. It'll be Stonington ball. Well, let's see. We're halfway through. We're more not even halfway through the first period, right? 3-3.
Correct. Yes.
So
3-3.
you're looking at 7 goals each in the first period. That's 28 goals apiece.
Well, these are both, aggressive teams, fast teams. They're definitely their attacking is their strength on both ends. So I would expect goals to be scored in this game. I don't think it's going to be a low-scoring game here. And from the look of it, it's going to be a nice tight one too.
I like that. East Lyme down early, took the lead. Now Stonington back to square, 3-3. Quick shot. And a goal! Casada with a third here in the first half. Wow. So my math was off because I'm doing 4 quarters like the boys, and it's 2 halves.
Correct, 2
instead
halves.
of girls. So my math is off. And you know who pointed that out to me? The sports doctor pointed that out to me. He just texted me. So you're right, Coach. We're looking at more along the lines of a 9 to 10 goal game versus a 20 goal game. But Stonington standing toe-to-toe with East Lyme doesn't seem to be disrupted by the physicality of East Lyme. Very comfortable on the offensive end are the Bears.
Absolutely. They look very confident on attack. They've got some great momentum, getting that first 2 goals and then staying toe-to-toe, like you said, with them right through the first 10 minutes. This should be an exciting game throughout the whole 50 minutes. We play 2 25-minute halves for this sport.
50 minutes of I could do that math. 50 minutes of girls lacrosse.
Yep, you got it.
Geller on the run for East Lyme. Good speed shown by Hannah Geller. She cuts back to her right inside the 20, looks for a pass and a nice
knocked down there.
Nice block. Yes, that
Back
was
to
by
East Lyme.
Pratt, and East Lyme will control. Ficini with Casada on her, which is a great matchup. She dishes off. East Lyme having a tough time of it. Beautiful defense on McCoy. McCoy, the freshman, sister of
Great
James
speed
McCoy.
there.
And a goal, and the Vikings have tied it at 4. Just like that, back and forth action. Carly Rowe with another one for the Vikings, and we're tied up at 4. I was talking in the earlier game about how the younger sibling is always the tougher one because they always were in the yard while the older sibling fired shots at him. Can you imagine being the younger sister of East Lyme's James McCoy? He only shoots at about 110 miles an hour, and his younger sister Ellen McCoy is out there as a freshman, and I'm sure she is out there not intimidated at all by the speed that she's seeing.
Probably not. I would think not. If her brother's firing at her, she's probably pretty calm and cool back there.
The draw is controlled by Ficini for the Vikings. Up ahead on a run. And we're going to get a whistle as Counter had some space, and the officials say that she was disrupted, so it will stay East Lyme ball. Counter will have it for the Vikings. On the whistle, Counter makes a run, lobs it back behind the net. Healy to Geller. Back up top to Ficini. Ficini with space inside. Counter. Swings it around the net. And Geller now with an opportunity. Nice defense from Stonington. Ball loose. Nice check that time on
Another
the
check.
stick. Great defense out there by Stonington. And we're going to get a whistle. That was great defense. Kate Johnson with the stick check and the steal, and then draws the penalty. And it will be Stonington ball. Nope, we're going to have Johnson with it. Waiting on the whistle. Kate Johnson has it for Stonington at the 10. And off she goes. Long transition pass. Beautiful catch out there by Hannah Pratt. She loses it, but it's picked up in the middle of the field, and then a hard check in the middle of the field on Feliciano, and the whistle will go Stonington's way. What is the signal when the official is making motions like, no, you go away, you go away?
So you have to be 4 meters away from any free position on the field. So if it's a major foul, which would a checking foul would be a major foul, everybody has to be 4 meters away, your teammates and your opponent. And lacrosse players, we don't like to move away too far. We'll go a few feet, and the officials will have to tell us a few times to get back. So they're insistent that we stay to that 4 meters, and we try to get as close as we can before that whistle blows to restart the ball.
In front now, Stonington in a 4-4 game. 11 minutes remaining here in the first half. Has Catherine Logel with the ball. Makes a run straight up the middle with good shutoff defense by Geller. And she's pushing her all the way back. And then they're not giving her an inch. Triple team now. The Vikings aggressive on Logel. No place to go. And finally knock her to the ground for a penalty.
Yeah, she's trying to run away from that double team, and they just keep coming and coming. They're putting really heavy pressure on the ball, and she can't see around it. But she has created a hole for her team right now, so let's see if that pays off.
Oh, Johnson had a look, and Kate Johnson just missed the goal to the left. She had an opportunity. Nice stout work by Maya Rose in this 4-4 game with 10.5 minutes remaining here in the first half. Sabadini with the ball for Stonington.
So again, they're trying to create space with that high pressure so they can get the ball into that empty space, but East Lyme's defense is doing a great job of taking away the vision of the ball carrier.
Johnson, triple team, throws it over to Sabadini. Sabadini with the high cradle, throws it over onto the right side to Pratt. And back up top, East Lyme, very good defensively, and Stonington being very methodical on the offensive side. Nice run now made by Lamb. Lamb holding the stick low, puts it all the way back up top to Remmert. And a loose ball controlled by Casada, and back to Pratt, and now Remmert. Johnson looking for some space, not there. A lot of time on this possession. Remmert loses the ball, regains possession, and dumps it back out up top, and Remmert gets it again. Very, very slow down here now by Stonington. Not as quick. Johnson in the middle with an opportunity and a save.
Yeah, they definitely want to make sure they maintain possession. You know, it's going to be critical down the line in this game that they don't, you know, force things and take poor shots, you know, just to get the shot off. So they're going to look to work until they find a hole. They're going to make East Lyme work for a while and make sure this possession. See, they're looking to East Lyme is really picking up their intensity on the ball pressure here.
Yeah, great defense by McCoy out there putting pressure on Logal. Johnson has it for Stonington. 8:36 remaining in the half. 4-4 game in front. Sabadini shoots, and she scores. Beautiful work by Stonington. Emma Sabadini, the junior, with her second goal of the game. 5-4 Stonington.
Good patience by Stonington, working the ball around, you know, trying to hold off that East Lyme defense and that high pressure and just staying calm and keeping possession is really important. You got to have possession of the ball. So they did a great job on that series.
That's got to be very disheartening for East Lyme. They played such stout defense. It was a very long possession for Stonington. Rock solid by East Lyme, but ultimately now you're down a goal. That's as good as you can play defensively to still give up a goal.
Right, and they did have a defensive knockdown there and almost recovered it. You know, so they're working, and it, you know, it looks like there's not as much motion going on, but there's a lot of work being done by that defense to follow what's happening on the Stonington side and look for those knockdowns. So unfortunately they came up short, but they actually played very good defense there.
Draw controlled by Woviotis for Stonington. Now she'll give it up to Sabadini, and it's going to get onto the stick of Casada. 1-goal lead for Stonington. 8 minutes here remaining in the first half. 5-4 Stonington on the top in the ECC Girls Lacrosse Championship here at East Lyme High School. The ball loose now. Casada picks it back up off the stick and gives it to Johnson. High pass to Woviotis. Woviotis spins. Look for Feliciano, and behind the net, Stonington again very content eating clock and working the ball around. Sabadini looks for a cutter, finds Johnson.
Great
Johnson
cutter,
in front and scores. Great look from Sabadini to Johnson, and the Bears go up 6-4. Sports Doctor, what are you thinking?
I got about a 4.5-minute possession resulting in 2 goals by the Stonington Bears. Coach had talked about it, Casey, but just total ball control, total patience on the offensive end. 4 minutes, 2 goals.
It's a lot of time to have possession, especially in a championship game. So East Lyme's got to do something to counteract that. They're going to have to probably put more pressure on the ball, probably go back to that double team. You know, it's a little bit more of a risk because you do have an open player, but you can't allow Stonington to hold possession for the rest of this half.
I'll tell you what, great work down there. Megan Detweiler getting that draw. You know, Coach, it's got to be exhausting for the defenders of East Lyme to have to chase the ball like that. And then when you give up a goal, Detweiler with a nice move for East Lyme Vikings on Detweiler. It'll stay Stonington ball, but that's got to be exhausting. You got to think substitutions at some point here on the defensive side, certainly for East Lyme.
Yeah, absolutely. And Coach Snyder usually does sub very efficiently. It's tough in a championship game when you've got your best guys in there and you want to kind of stay true to it, but it is exhausting. So he's going to have to look to see, some of those high defenders, the girls working the crease there. It's a lot of work, and they're going to need to breathe at some point.
He's talking with Erin Bauman. He's pulled her off to the side. Looks like she may be entering the game here shortly. Stonington up 2 with the ball, 6.5 remaining. Nice
good defense
strip
there.
Defensively by Stonington. They'll play it, by East Lyme. They'll play it back through the goalie, but a beautiful block in front by Hannah Lamb, and that's going to force Maya Rose out of the goal for East Lyme, but she outlets to Julia Bates, and up ahead it goes. Ficini, quick transition for East Lyme. Beautifully done. Here comes Carly Rowe.
They've got numbers here.
Rowe makes a move in front, and she scores. What a gorgeous transition goal. The officials are, however, blowing a whistle. Are we disallowing? Are we allowing? What are we doing here?
No, I think there was contact after the shot, which is going to allow them a free position and there is a card here. So we'll see. So it looks like Woviotis is getting carded for contact with the shooter.
But what a beautiful job. East Lyme in transition, rotating out, getting it into the hands and from Ficini into Rowe's hands. Rowe made a beautiful run and a score, and just like that, they're back within a goal, 6-5, 6:13 remaining. All the work Stonington has done to get those 2 goals. Beautiful transition lacrosse by East Lyme.
Yeah, quick. Once Carly was able to outlet that ball, they were off to the races, and a great finish on the other end. Now they have possession of the ball. That's due to the contact that Woviotis made with the shooter. They will have possession here.
Julia Bates will have possession for East Lyme. 6:13 remaining, down a goal. They're telling Johnson where they're going. The sports doctor is talking with Woviotis, Lexi Woviotis, the senior defenseman. Sports doctor, what did Lexi Woviotis have to say?
She did nothing wrong. Running fast, yellow card, 2 minutes. Casey, roughhousing is the call, I would guess.
And here's another penalty as Rowe was in the crease with an opportunity to score, and she got hammered. That's going to give Carly Rowe, the sniper for East Lyme, an opportunity to tie this one up. Waiting on the whistle. Here she comes. Gets a shot off, and she scores. Carly Rowe, you can't give her a free shot at it, and that's what she had, and we're all tied up at 6. 5:43 remaining. What a surprise, sports doctor. I did nothing wrong.
That's too easy, though, right there. How do you give somebody a point-blank shot within 6 feet? It's like giving you a layup, Casey O'Neill.
Well, I'll tell you, they've taken advantage of Woviotis, one of the prime defenders of Stonington, being out of the game. East Lyme put the pedal to the metal when they needed to. It back tied up at 6.
Well, quick goals. Again, we talked about the possession from Stonington, the 4.5 minutes, 2 goals. We just saw 2 goals in about 30 seconds there, Coach. So quick scoring ability negates the possession by the Bears.
Draw will be taken midfield, 6-6. Oh, nice job by Johnson to tap it away, and she's going to scoop up this ground ball. Play on. Johnson making a run now as Geller took a spill, but Johnson for Stonington heads around the goal, and a nice job of checking on the play. It's going to stay Stonington ball. Christensen evidently got up a little bit high on the stick. Was that within the sphere?
Yeah, it was hard to see as they were rolling around behind the goal there. I was trying to see what was happening, so I'm sure the official made the right call.
Sabadini now heads over and passes off to Casada. Casada nicely defended by Bates, but they're going to call the whistle and say Casada was illegally touched. Now Casada to Logel. Nice defense by Ficini. But out of the pack of it's going to come Feliciano. She's quickly double-teamed, gets it off to Logel. Logel now has an open person. She can't see her. Now she does. There's Feliciano. Oh, but a great defensive play that time by Christensen. And East Lyme's going to carry. Christensen on the sideline with speed. Running through the midfield. Being chased from behind by Casada. Christensen up ahead. There goes Healy. Healy now looking for Rowe. Healy turns. In front. And, just missed the mark. She was looking for her sister, Kristen Healy, but it will be Stonington ball as we are 4 minutes and 15 seconds remaining here in the first half. Woviotis is trying to get back on the field. She said, my 2 minutes is up. And she does get back on the field. Lexi Woviotis back in the game at the 4-minute mark. 6-all here in the ECC Girls Lacrosse Championship at East Lyme High School. East Lyme and Stonington tied at 6. Almost a steal by Bates, but instead Casada comes out of the pack with it for Stonington. She tries to give it up to Johnson. Johnson at the 40. She's going to make a run now, crosses the 30. Johnson crosses the 20. Johnson with the double cradle, looks in front, has a shot, and misses the goal high. Opportunity by Kate Johnson goes high. Stonington will have the ball, but a nice defensive play by East Lyme. Christensen doing great work back there.
A lot of bodies down here.
It's going to stay Stonington ball. 3 minutes remaining here in the first half. Back behind the net. Here comes Sabadini in front. Johnson, quick, Woviotis, quick shot, and a beautiful save by Maya Rose. Rose, here comes the outlet. It goes to Agbayani. Agbayani, that's a better job by Stonington that time, cutting off transition.
So, yeah, they're forcing him to switch sides here. Back to Rose in the goal. So they're going to look to see if they can pick something off here.
Nice job and marking their people by Stonington, forcing the keeper out of the net to try to run some transition. They're doing a very good job. Here comes a pick up the middle.
Loose ball, and Stonington has gotten it.
Woviotis picked it up, gets it ahead.
Great feed pass there.
Feliciano in front, and a missed opportunity again right in front. Johnson, that's back-to-back opportunities for Kate Johnson in front of the goal, and she can't quite convert. 6-all, 2 minutes remaining in the half. Oh, great job that time by Hannah Lamb. She blocked Maya Rose, and ball's loose. Opportunity for Stonington. Can they pick it up? We got a right in the face. Casada just got banged. We're going to get a whistle. That one's going to be against Bauman. Bauman just into the game, and she popped Casada in the helmet. Here comes an opportunity, Feliciano. Here comes a run, Woviotis straight down the chute. Woviotis in front with a shot and a goal! Lexi Woviotis back into the ball game off a penalty, puts Stonington up 7-6 with 1:42 remaining in the first half. Got the opportunity straight up the. Now is that unusual for a defender to come all the way up like that and be able to make a run, or is she playing in the midfield right now?
Yeah, no, it's not that common, but it does happen. You know, Lexi's got a lot of skills beyond just being a great defender, and she's got good size and speed. So, you know, they use her as many ways that they can, and she's pretty intimidating. She's got good size and speed coming through that 8-meter, and can be pretty intimidating. So they use her well.
Draw one by East Lyme. On the run comes Carolyn Reel. We are under a minute 30 remaining, and a whistle will keep the ball in East Lyme's possession.
But they do have 4 defenders behind her, so I think she is in the midfield right now. They've moved her after that card. She's up in the midfield.
Reel with the ball for East Lyme. 1:30 remaining here in the first half. Stonington with a 1-goal lead. In front, it goes. Nice check that time by Stonington. Well done, sealing off Anna Johnson. Behind the net, it goes to Healy. Healy spins. Back behind the net, she finds. She was looking for a counter. And out of bounds it goes, and it'll stay with East Lyme. Here comes counter. Up, Stonington retains. Daisy Williams out of her defense, up ahead to Woviotis. Woviotis running through the midfield. Nice pass up ahead to Detweiler. Detweiler with plenty of open real estate. She crosses midfield. She crosses the 40. Look at the speed of Bates to catch her from behind. And a errant pass and a turnover. We're going to get a whistle, however, beforehand. And we're going to get illegal contact. It'll be Stonington ball. 47 seconds remaining. Great speed by Detweiler and Bates. Detweiler now for Stonington. will have possession. Here's the whistle. Up ahead, Casada. Johnson on a nice check. Casada, Feliciano in front. And a nice defensive effort by Harrington. And out of it in transition comes East Lyme. Counter is going to counter. Gives it to Healy. Healy in front. Healy looking for one last pass. Wraps around the goal. Looks for a cutting defender. Tries to get it to Rowe. But well defended by Woviotis. Woviotis now on a run. 15 seconds remaining in the half. 12.6 seconds remaining, and Woviotis will have possession for Stonington. See if they have an opportunity to get one more shot off here to end the half.
They're going to have to move the ball through the air there, and she's not going to be able to run it. So here we go. Let's see if this nope.
Intercepted by Agbayani. The other direction, an opportunity for counter. 5 seconds. Counter looking to get off a shot. 3, 2, counter. Can't get one off, and we are at the end of the first half. 7-6. Stonington on top. The sports doctor is going to have Jeff Medeiros, the Stonington coach, and let's find out his thoughts on his first half action. Sports doctor.
Head coach Jeff Medeiros. Coach, you head into the halftime with the lead. What worked for you in the first half?
Well, I mean, we were controlling the ball great on offense. A lot of movement on the ball. That's what I wanted to see. Good midfield transition, stuff like that. And we're winning the ground balls. That's really the thing. We're beating them to the ground balls. We're hustling them. That's what we're doing.
How do you stop their quick scoring attack? Because they got a couple quick ones on you guys.
They do, and they're great catchers, and they catch everything on the middle. We're just working on keeping the cutters out, taking away their lines to the net, stuff like that. Keeping our sticks up, hoping we knock the balls down.
Good luck in the second half, Coach. All right. Casey, barn burner here, Game 2, ECC Final, Girls Showdown.
Shouldn't be anything but a classic, sports doctor. 7-6, Stonington on top. And I thought it was interesting there, Coach. He was very pleased with his team's effort on the ground balls, and he realized that they were doing a good job with possession. I think Stonington's got to be happy. Obviously, they're in the lead against a powerful East Lyme team. But it doesn't seem like there's anything fluky to it at all. They've maintained possession. They've won the 50-50 balls. They've been solid on the ground. And I think, if they can keep East Lyme's midfield from, they cover so much ground so fast, both on the ground and through the air, I think Stonington has to feel really good about where they are right now.
Yeah, they're in a great position right now. Coach said it. They're doing a great job on the ground balls. I don't know the stats on the draw, but they seem to have quite a few draw controls as well. And as long as they maintain good possession through the transition, that's tough because you can see how fast East Lyme moves on their ride and how they swarm the ball so quickly. And a few times it has flustered Stonington a bit. They've had a few turnovers there. So if they can still, if they can get through that transition quickly and maintain possession, I think this game is going to stay pretty tight.
Yeah, we had an opportunity to see Stonington jump out on top early, 2 very quick goals. Then East Lyme came right back, and it was almost like Coach Medeiros said, I don't like the idea of the up-tempo game. I want to be up-tempo through the midfield, get my quick transitions, but then I want to settle on the offensive things and sort of work the possession. You could see when East Lyme kind of has the ability to hit you back so quickly. I think Coach Medeiros is very pleased getting it over into his offensive zone and then setting up shop.
Yeah, nothing's more comfortable than having the ball in your stick. So you want to have possession. It's a comfortable place to be. Plus, the high-tempo game, it's tiring. Like you said, we watch East Lyme's defense working, how hard they're working during that time. 4.5 minutes, I think Keith said, that they had possession on those 2 goals. There's a lot of work being done there, and it gives Stonington an opportunity to calm, give themselves a second to breathe and get their heads cleared. But the possession is really, really important. So, the less transition they have to do, the better off they're going to be throughout the course of the game.
4.5 minutes remaining here in the break between the 2 halves. We're going to bring the sports doctor in and give him in a minute with the coach.
Thank you, my good friend Casey O'Neill. I love the golf shirt you got on, too, by the way. Came from Pebble Beach, did it not? Jeez, I wonder who got you that one. But it's Sports Doctor with the coach. Jenna, let me ask you a couple of questions real quick. First of all, you're in midsummer form. You've tanned. You're ready. You've already checked out of your school year. You're ready to start your summer. Obviously, you know a lot of these kids from Stonington High School. You coach a lot of them in field hockey. What's the biggest thing that you see, with this group of kids? Is it athleticism? Is it heart? Is it training? Is it a little bit of everything? Because I'm sure you've got some sort of vested interest when you're doing a game like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the athleticism is obvious. I mean, you can see also the speed. You see the speed that Wolviotis brings to the field. You can see like a lot of the athleticism that these kids bring, and they are feisty. They are feisty, and they know that they're the smaller dog in the fight, but they're not going to back down. And I think that's one of the things I've always loved about Stonington is they're fighters. They're scrappy. And they're gonna take whatever tools they've got and they're gonna use it to the best of their ability.
We were over there on Monday afternoon and we did a game day challenge with the softball team, and some of the kids, Miranda Aruda and some of the other kids over there, oh my God, these kids can ball.
Yeah.
They're very, very tough. They're very, they're very witty. Yeah, they know how to push buttons a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they're a lot of fun to coach.
They're a lot of fun. We'll have to invite you over for a field hockey challenge. You know one of those yet?
I don't know if I can handle much of that, but this is this is high school sports now. This is the last couple weeks of the season. You guys just got done with the year over at Fitch. Were you happy with the success of your season, or is you going to give me the line? There's always room for improvement.
No, well, any team's going to tell you that because otherwise you're going to become stagnant, and that's where you start to decline. But we qualified for the state tournament. We play on Saturday. It's the first time we've.
Where do you go?
We're home. We're going to be home. We're going to host Bethel at 11 o'clock.
Okay.
In Groton. And, we haven't qualified for the tournament since 2015, so this is a good spot for us to be in.
Right.
We were fighting for a spot in the ECC tournament, didn't quite get there, lost a couple games that, determined whether or not we were going to be able to get in, and it was unfortunate. But I think, 9 wins for us is a step in the right direction.
Sure.
I've got a lot of athletic kids on the roster, so I'm happy where we finished this year. Obviously, there's
How
a few
many
places
years have you
I'd like
been
to
there?
change. This is my 4th season there.
Okay, so isn't that the usual cycle? Takes about 3 or 4 years to stamp this is my team, this is our program moving forward, this is how we're going to handle things, and you guys have to buy in a little bit. Does it take 3 or 4 years?
It does, and I'm looking at my seniors who played their last regular season home game last week, and I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, God, these kids have been with me since I started.
Right.
And
right.
I've seen the growth, and I've seen them buy in and believe in kind of what I'm selling, and it is catching on. So. There's always a little bit of transition time there, but I'm happy the way these senior players have developed and the way they've contributed to the program and the place that they've taken it. So it's been good.
Which sport do you like more? I mean, I'm not going to ask you what group of kids you like more, but which sport do you enjoy coaching and teaching more? I'm going to put you on the spot before Casey comes back. Is there one particular sport? Like, do you enjoy lacrosse more or the field hockey game? Which one do you, or is it basketball? Because I know you're a big basketball fan.
I was a big basketball player too back in the day.
And a ref, and a scout, and a coach, and everything.
Long-time official, both basketball and lacrosse, and I'd have to say probably the one sport that I still try to play, God help me, is hockey, is field hockey. I played it since I was 12, 13 years old, and it's always been a part of my life. Lacrosse came into my life as an adult. I got involved after officiating basketball. I got involved officiating lacrosse and learned about the sport and learned to love the sport. So lacrosse is a fairly new interest if you compare my lifetime of being around the game of field hockey, and I still love playing the game of field hockey. So, I've really enjoyed the time I've gotten to know lacrosse, and I think we're ready to start. I think you're ready
I think you're ready to play some basketball too. I'll turn things back over to the ever dapper Casey O'Neill as he takes over, and we'll see you down the field, Case.
Thank you, Sports Doctor. Good friend of mine gave it to me on his trip to wealthy entrepreneur. He travels all over the country. Here we go. Start of the second half. 7-6 Stonington. Perhaps a mild surprise as they lead here to open the second half of the ECC Girls Lacrosse Championship. East Lyme, the defending champions, looking to double up on Stonington, who was the runner-up last year. The East Lyme boys have already pulled off their double up. Here's a straight run up the middle by Kate Johnson for Stonington. Now she turns, thinks better of it. Good checking there. Nice bang around. And the ball is loose and out of the pack. Agbayani taps it. And Ficini will control for East Lyme. They're going to try to transition through the middle. There's Counter. Counter on a run. She gets some speed to the sideline. Nice speed by Counter. Counter heads in. Good scoring opportunity here for East Lyme. She goes behind the net to Healy. But Healy loses it on a great effort. Coming out of the pack for it was Daly, and up ahead now, Stonington transitions the other direction to Casada. Casada up ahead to Lamb. Lamb, she runs through the middle. Lamb has some room, crosses the 15. Lamb looks for a spot, scoops it over to Feliciano, and now Stonington will go methodical and set up their offense. Behind the net, it goes to Sabadini, and here's what we saw work very well for Stonington in the first half.
Yeah, a little too much contact there as she is taking a look around.
I don't. If it's a rule, then I get it, but I don't love the fact that when it appears there's an advantage, the whistle blows and stops the advantage.
So if they've got a scoring play, they're not going to blow. You'll see the official will raise a yellow flag. If hopefully, well, we'll see if one pops up soon. Happens quite often. The official will recognize that there's been a disruption, but he'll pull the flag and he'll let the play continue. If the player no longer has the opportunity to score, they will blow it and give them an 8-meter free position. But if they get through and get their shot off, then they let the play go. So in that position where she was down below the goal line extended, she wasn't in scoring position. So they're going to blow the whistle and give her a free position, get the defender off of her. But if that same contact had happened in the 8-meter, if she was going to goal, they would have flagged it, let it go. If she gets a shot off, then there's no whistle.
Catherine Casada with the goal for Stonington puts them on top by 2, 8-6 with 22:45 remaining here. Beautiful effort, and the Bears get the goal off of that methodical offensive possession. Coach, what about the concept of similar to the boys' game, where if there's a whistle, but the team is maintaining possession in their offensive end, you don't stop play until they lose possession or the ball hits the ground. I mean, the girl's got it in her stick. I mean, I know that she was quote-unquote disrupted, but she's not that disrupted. She still has the ball in her cradle. She's still in an opportunity to make a play. I know it's a rule. I'm just wondering, has there been any talk about, allowing a little more free flow, or is that something that the girls' game is comfortable with the status of play?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard of anything changing in that regard. That contact that we just saw there down there below the goal line extended is probably up to the official whether or not she felt it warranted a whistle. They don't like repeated fouls. They don't like players to be allowed to continually make, illegal contact because it encourages more rough play. So they're going to blow it to make sure that the game stays under control, and the officials need to do that. This is not supposed to be a heavily contacted sport. It is supposed to be skill. So they are going to blow that to prevent that kind of repeated contact there. We've got a charge.
Yeah, Woviotis. Bates took the charge on Woviotis. That's the second time that she's done that. Now Bates cuts in the middle. She's going to try to give an opportunity. Shot. Save made by Alexis Scott. Quick transition now. Woviotis up ahead to Casada. Casada and Faccini. What a great matchup that is. And a whistle. Casada will have the possession for Stonington.
And they're going to blow that right away. Anytime you have the stick in a horizontal position, making contact with the body, that's a very dangerous contact. They're not going to let that play out. So that's one thing you're going to see.
My brief experience with the Montville girls lacrosse, the limited contact, I mean, you're right. You don't need a lot of contact to dislodge the ball. These sticks make it very difficult. Sabadini in front. And we're going to get a whistle.
Shooting space.
And the shooting space. So Sabadini's going to have a free opportunity here in a 2-goal game. Big opportunity for Stonington to go up 3 goals. Sabadini with this chance. Emma Sabadini, the junior, throws a shot in, and a beautiful save by Rose. And the whistle, and it will be East Line ball. It's really hard to maintain possession of the ball. So it doesn't take a whole lot. So, I mean, the stick calls, the checking calls are really important for teams to be able to have some free flow like they have right now with Geller showing her speed. Wow, Hannah Geller can fly. Up the middle she goes, but a beautiful intercepted pass on the other end. And a long...
Turn it over again.
Yeah, back in the other end. Bates now controls, and she read straight up the middle for East Lyme.
Stonington wants to get out of there quickly because East Lyme's defense is going to swarm, but they don't want to have any unforced turnovers here. So they got to draw the line there between how fast they're going to get it out and whether or not they're going to sacrifice the turnover here.
Healy tries to find Rowe, and now Geller will control for East Lyme, and they'll be methodical. Nice job by Casada, but then it's intercepted and the whistle will blow. Casada that time stepped in front of the pass, and it will be Stonington ball.
Yeah, that was a nice read by Casada there, intercepting that ball on the attack.
Casada with Geller. Geller so quick. And another whistle as Casada was bumped in the midfield, so she'll have possession. Under 20 minutes remaining here in the ball game. 8-6 Stonington on top in the ECC Girls Lacrosse Championship. Way up ahead, long outlet and a save by Rose. Ashley was trying to get it to Logel and it just overshot. Now here's a long outlet from Rose into the midfield to Ficini. This is where East Lyme is so dangerous. Ficini to Christensen. Christensen now makes a run, crosses the 30, crosses the 20, heads into space. Christensen heads behind the net, dumps it off to Counter. A nice check by Daisy Williams does not get rewarded, and Counter will have the offensive possession for East Lyme. Under 19 minutes remaining in the ballgame. Counter in front. Nice defense. Christensen sealed off by Stonington. Counter behind the net now. Again, another push by Williams. And again, Counter will have possession. Here comes Counter. Sealed off nicely. Up top to Ficini. Ficini reverses her space. Into traffic. Nice pass. She gets it in front. Here comes a cutter. Rowe and a goal. No. No goal. That must have hit the pipe. I thought Carly Rowe had a goal right in front. They said no, it hit the pipe. And coming out the other direction is Stonington. Sabadini gives over to Detweiler. Now Detweiler straight up the middle of the field. And we'll get a whistle on Bates. And it'll be Stonington ball. You thought Rowe was up. You thought Rowe had the back of the net, didn't you?
I'd like to see the replay on that. That looked like the net jumped and that ball bounced out, but we'll have to see the instant replay on that. Where is that? You got that queued up?
We'll have it. We'll have it for you tomorrow. You'll be able to watch it as many times as you want tomorrow, Coach. Nice play by Scott. Rose. Rose heads out of the net, looking for the long transition, and she gets it. Christensen, she can fly. Crosses the 50. Christensen headed off by Johnson. Up ahead, she goes to Counter. East Lyme looking to make a run. 2-goal game. Stonington lead. East Lyme needs to cut into it. Pass in front. Little run. Nice job by Stonington sealing off Rowe. In front around the back of the net now. Rowe on the left stick. Passes it in front to Healy and a beautiful save by Scott. Quick transition in the other direction. Here comes Detweiler. Detweiler running freely. Passes back to Casada. Ball loose, however. Ground ball. Can Casada win it? Yes, she can. Whoa! What a hit on Christensen from Casada. Christensen is down, and Casada is clearly concerned about the health of the East Lyme player. An accidental bridge, and Christensen is down. The East Lyme faithful not happy with that. Catherine Casada, the midfield senior for Stonington, went low. Sarah Christensen, the junior for East Lyme, went high, flipped right over the top, and landed awkwardly at the 40-yard line. And fortunately, looks mostly like she got the wind knocked out of her. She is back on her feet to a round of applause from both East Lyme and the Stonington girls, as well as the East Lyme faithful. She's going to have to come out of the game, and momentarily, Erin Bauman will check in for the Vikings. What did you see there, Coach?
I mean, I thought Casada got knocked down and was trying to get back up quickly as the East Lyme player came over the top. I mean, that's kind of hard, kind of something difficult to script as intentional. But, you know, it's a heated game down there. You're really seeing a lot more physical contact here. Officials are trying to keep everything in check, so hopefully they'll just keep calling it tight and keep everybody safe here. Sports Doctor, what do you think?
Yeah, playing the second half has certainly got a lot more physical, Casey, especially behind the net. And if you can go back to 2 minutes ago, I agree with Coach. I'd like to see the replay on that. Is that one goal that they was disallowed? It sounded like it was in the back of the net on the side of the pipe and then popped out. From my vantage point, Casey.
Yeah, we think so too, Sports Doctor. We're going to have to check that one out. A big turn of events, though. Let's see how East Lyme responds emotionally. Stonington with the ball. Big opportunity. Here comes Lamb. Makes a run on the goal. Tries to sneak it in. Spins. Good defense by Stonington here. By East Lyme. And there's going to be the whistle. And Hannah Lamb is going to have an opportunity here. Free run at it for Stonington. That third goal would be a huge lead. They're up 8-6 right now. Can they get one more? Lamb, Hetsu, swarms, shoots. And we have another whistle. What's this one, Coach?
So there was more contact on that shooting play. He didn't think she was going to be able to get a good shot off. As you notice on the first call, he had the flag, and then when she backed out, they blew it so that she would have her shooting opportunity. We'll see how they...
Better angle for Lamb. She lets it fly, and she scores! Hannah Lamb gives the Stonington Bears a 9-6 lead with 15:50 remaining here in the ball game. The biggest lead of the game for either team, and the Bears are sitting pretty right now with under 16 minutes remaining.
Yeah, I mean, Stonington's going to have to be really smart about their possessions here. Early in the first half, they were had a bunch of unforced turnovers and really looking to, trying to kind of strike quick, but they had a lot of unforced errors. So East Lyme is definitely running on high on emotion right now. They're really fueled. So Stonington's going to have to be poised and maintain possession if they're going to think that this 3-goal lead is going to hold them off. So there's a lot of game here to play, Casey. A lot of game left.
East Lyme calls a timeout. Phil Schneider wants to talk it over with the girls, and we'll find out momentarily what the sports doctor learned in the huddle. We're going to see Sarah Christensen back into the ball game for East Lyme after the spill that she took earlier in the game, and emotionally you couldn't have asked for a better result from Stonington. They responded to that timeout with a goal off of an offensive possession. That's a very important emotional lift for Stonington. East Lyme is flying high. Sports doctor.
Yeah, during the timeout, Coach Christensen, all he talked about was possession, possession, possession. We can't score if we don't have the ball. So we got to value the ball when we get it, and we got to make something happen. Stonington's had the ball way too much here in the second half.
That's right, sports doctor. And this is when those draws become really, really important. And having somebody who's talented on the draw, the ability for your teams to win those ground balls off the draw, win those balls in the air, because you're exactly right. You can't do anything if you don't have possession. And we've seen Stonington will sit on that possession offensively and take clock, and they'll get a good opportunity out of it as well.
Yeah, we'll see off this draw. If Stonington's able to win another draw and maintain possession again after that goal, they're smart with the ball. East Lyme's going to have some work to do here.
15:50 remaining here in the ball game. Biggest lead for either team is 9-6 Stonington. You're watching Game Day live on theday.com. Casey O'Neill along with the coach, Jenna Tuccio, the sports doctor down on the sidelines, and the Stonington High School girls 15 minutes away from pulling off what they could not do last year, upsetting the East Lyme Vikings and winning the ECC Girls Lacrosse Championship. Ficini will take the draw for East Lyme. Official gets the stick set. And here we go with the draw at midfield. Equal stick. And off we go. Strong face-off that time. Strong draw. Won by East Lyme. Bates, quick transition. Vikings have a real good opportunity here. Looking in the middle, trying to find a cutter, and Stonington recovers nicely. Healy, back up top it goes to the other Healy. Now behind the net, the two Healys playing a little possession game. In front, back to Ficini. And a nice job that time by Scott, pouncing on the loose ball, but East Lyme recovers. In front, Bates. She'll take it back out to the middle and switch fields. It goes to Carly Rowe. Carly Rowe looking for some possession, and she backs it out. 15 minutes remaining here in the championship. 9-6, Stonington on top. Ficini. Woviotis high sticking her to the right, not allowing her to get that pass through the middle. The length and height of Woviotis clearly troublesome for East Lyme. She's a long body in the middle. In front, a shot and a goal. Beautiful look, and the goal from Caroline Healy brings East Lyme to within 2, 9-7.
So they settled down a little bit more there. Again, the possession. Coach Schneider, I bet you was talking about that during the timeout. They've got to possess the ball, and they've got to take good shots. So that was a nice possession by East Lyme right there.
Exactly what you want coming out of the timeout. You win the draw, you get into a good offensive possession. Yeah, you like you said, methodical, and you score the goal. And suddenly, two goals doesn't seem insurmountable with 14 and a half minutes remaining. And they're a goal away from the pressure switching very quickly back over to Stonington, because you don't want to be the team that gives up the 3-goal lead.
Right. 3 goals is not a lot in lacrosse. I mean, goals, as you see, goals can be scored in 10 seconds, 12 seconds. So this game is very fast-paced, and it can go in any direction at any moment.
Oh, nice transition. Johnson up to Casada. She crosses the 40 to Feliciano. Dumps it down inside to Sabadini. Sabadini makes a run, and that's a big possession now for Stonington. If they can hold on, they got the whistle. If they can hold possession here, they'll be able to eat some clock with 14-15 remaining here in the game. Sabadini cuts in front, back behind the goal. She's going to swing it around, and does to Casada. Casada back on top to Johnson, to Woviotis, and Stonington will be happy to play the perimeter game right now.
Yeah, they're playing a little deeper now, keeping it spread out a little bit more, trying to draw those East Line players out and also maintain possession of the ball.
Kate Johnson to Lamb. Lamb in front, Sabadini. Sabadini spins. Loose ball, but she retains, kicks it back out to Johnson, and valuable clock being eaten here by Stonington.
It's a lot of clock to eat up, though, Casey. They're gonna have to make a move and look to. Whoop.
Ball in front, and Logo gets to it, and she wins the ground ball. So Stonington retains the possession. Long pass up top, it goes to Johnson. Kate Johnson swings back to Woviotis, and down under 13 minutes here remaining, and we're going to get a whistle. Officials checking with one another. But it looks like it'll stay Stonington ball. Free run here for Woviotis. Under 13 minutes remaining. Woviotis heads to the middle. Tries to split the defenders. Double teamed. Ball loose. Feliciano taps it, and it's controlled again by Stonington. Woviotis swings it to Johnson. Nice job by Stonington. No matter what comes out of this possession, they have taken valuable time off the clock. In the middle, an opportunity for Williams, and she is hammered. Hannah Lamb, rather, had that ball right in the middle, and that was a beautiful look from Casada to Lamb, and Lamb got shoved to the ground, and it'll stay Stonington ball. Stonington ball, Woviotis. Sports Doctor.
And my question to Coach is this: is this too much, though? Is this too much icing of the game for the Bears? Talked about having over 10 minutes left to go. Is it too much, Coach?
Well, that's yet to be seen. I mean, if you're looking to try to keep East Line from scoring those last 2 goals, you're gonna have to stretch this icing out a little bit. But they could probably be a little bit more aggressive right now. But they know how important the possession is, so they don't want to give East Line too many opportunities to possess this ball.
Agbayani straight down the field with a chance. She turns, passes to Rowe. Rowe heads in, she shoots, and a save by Scott. Quick transition the other way to Casada. 1.5 minutes left on the East Line penalty. Up ahead it goes to Feliciano. Feliciano finds Sabadini running down the middle of the field. Sabadini with an opportunity. She turns, she shoots, and she scores! A huge goal from Emma Sabadini puts Stonington back on top by 3, 10-7. Beautiful lacrosse in transition by the Bears.
They're finding that outlet really quick, Casey. You'll notice that the keeper right off of the save, she's got that outlet right away. No hesitation. She knows where her players are, and they're looking to change lanes, right? They're looking to cross that midline and get the ball, make that defense move, and then a quick transition to a numbers up attack on the other end. So Stonington knows they need to move the ball. They need to avoid that defensive ride by East Line.
Casey, I think that yellow card earlier woke up Sabatini a little bit. She's had a couple of fierce goals since she's back in the game. Boy, she's playing with some fire out there on the side.
10-7, still 1:18 remaining on Julia Bates' penalty for East Lyme. Stonington up 3 with a chance to tack on some more. Draw.
Yeah, Stonington has to use this penalty to their advantage because they're going to have numbers up on attack and on defense. So they definitely want to look to strike while that girl's still out of the game. They don't want to burn too much time with numbers up here.
Anna Johnson will do the draw with Wovie Otis. 11:45 remaining and a Stonington 3-goal lead. Hard draw into the Stonington end, controlled by Sabadini, and a whistle. It'll be Stonington ball, though, and that's a big possession here for the Bears. 11:35 remaining.
And they are man up, so they need to move this ball and find the open player because someone is open.
Casada.
And there she is.
In front, low goal, shoots, and a beautiful block in front. Christensen picks it up. Missed opportunity for Stonington. Christensen now running down the left sideline. She pivots, turns, looking to get rid of the ball. She does to Geller. And a whistle, and it will be East Line ball. 11 minutes remaining here in the ball game. Stonington on top by 3 in a very, very fiercely competitive championship game of the ECC Girls Lacrosse. Christensen loses possession. Feliciano for Stonington gets it up ahead to Sabadini. She'll pass it back, and a run will be made by Johnson for the Bears. Johnson pushes Casada away. Stonington happy to eat up the clock, and now getting set in the offensive end are the Bears. Sabadini back to Feliciano, and East Lyme's going to have to step out and put some pressure here soon as we're almost down under 10 minutes remaining in the ballgame.
Yeah, they're going to have to change their defense here because Stonington in this set can eat up minutes off the clock every possession, and East Lyme doesn't have that kind of time right now.
Bates back in off the penalty. We are full strength in both directions. Wovie Otis, Johnson, and now over to Casada for Stonington, and we're down 10 minutes remaining here in the ECC championship game. Lamb swings it around. Stonington looking to eat clock. Here comes a run by Casada. She shoots, and a beautiful save by Scott. Nice forecheck by Sabadini, not allowing Scott to transition for East Lyme. There's a miscue in front, but Scott recovers nicely. Rose. Rose recovers nicely for East Lyme. Rose, the veteran goalkeeper, shoots it up ahead to Geller. Geller crosses midfield, being hassled by Wovie Otis. Pivots right and goes. Geller now crosses the 30. Wovie Otis banging her with the stick. She gives it to Rowe. Rowe straight up the middle for the Vikings, looking to score, backs it out. Rowe, stutter step in the middle, has an opportunity and scores! Carly Rowe with a beautiful move and a goal for the East Lyme Vikings, and she draws them a little bit closer as she beats Alexis Scott.
So we look like we lost the clock, but it's coming back up for us here.
9:21 remaining in the ball game, and the Vikings have cut it to 2. 10-8 Stonington. Boy, the Vikings can score quickly. 9:21 and a 2-goal Stonington lead. As much clock as Stonington eats up, they have got to get back into the mode of trying to score goals, because East Lyme can score so quickly.
Yeah, this is a lot of time. They started stalling at 15 minutes, and they're going to need to go on the attack mode and look to put another goal on the board. East Lyme's not going to let this game clock run out at this point with a 2-goal lead here.
Johnson to Lamb. Lamb now has an opportunity straight up the middle for Stonington. Hounded nicely by Bates, so she changes tactics and dumps it over to Sabadini. Sabadini now settles in, and Stonington will again go into the methodical offensive rotation that they have seen work for them here in the early going. They have a 2-goal lead with just under 9 minutes remaining in the ballgame. Lamb and Sabadini playing a little 2-person game. Now swings down. Sabadini makes a run, tries to draw the defender, and does, and kicks it back to Lamb. Long pass to Johnson, dangerous, but she receives it. Straight up the middle, splits 2 defenders, and shoots, and scores! What a beautiful effort by Kate Johnson with the goal for Stonington.
There's going to be another card here, Casey.
We're going to get a card on an East Lyme player, and that looks like it's going to go on Nancy Harrington. Harrington's going to head off, and that puts Stonington back up 3 and will give them an advantage as well, as Harrington has been called for the offense, and she's going to head off the field.
Yeah, and Stonington's going to get the ball back. So, they've got the goal. They've eaten another minute off the clock. They've drawn the foul on the shot, and now it's going to be Stonington possession on this draw here.
everything that could go right for Stonington right there did. They scored the goal on an amazing effort by Kate Johnson, the junior midfielder, and now they have the ball up 3 goals with only 8.5 minutes remaining and a 2-minute penalty on Nancy Harrington. Right now, Stonington is in the best position they've been in all game.
Yeah, absolutely. We know Stonington has been doing a good job of eating up the clock. They pass the ball well. They haven't had very many unforced errors. So as long as they stay calm, keep this ball moving. So now here comes East Lyme's pressure. They've just got to keep the ball ahead of that double and or triple team.
Long pass, dangerous, but ground ball, loose, scooped up by East Lyme. They've got the turnover that they were looking for. Kristen Healy plays it back, and East Lyme will go backwards before they go forwards, but here they go transitioning over midfield. In the middle it goes. Bates up ahead. Nice run now to Rowe. In front, opportunity. Carly Rowe, nice check by Stonington, but we're going to get a whistle. Good, probably a good decision by Stonington anyway, because Rowe was heading straight to the goal.
Yeah, you got to slow that play down, and they have numbers up on defense right now. So, if they can block this shot or avoid the shot here, which
shot in front.
Oh, looks like it made it in there.
And we're going to get a goal. I didn't see that. Now, that's the opposite. The other one looked like it was in the back of the net. That one I never saw go in. But Carly Rowe puts it in the back of the net and brings East Lyme to within 2. A shorthanded goal by East Lyme. Very, very important for them. Now they have a minute left on the penalty, and they're only down 2.
Yeah, that's a huge score for East Lyme, especially since their numbers down on attack. Quick transition goal, drew the penalty, and then got the 8-meter. So that's a hugely important goal for East Lyme at this point.
Hard to believe that the Vikings scored so quickly, down a man, or down a person, as I should say. 1 minute remaining on the Harrington penalty. She's chomping at the bit, standing next to our own sports doctor. She wants to get back in this game something fierce. Draw at midfield. Important for East Lyme to get this possession. Ball up, and the high stick of Woviotis gets knocked to the ground, and Johnson comes out of it with Stonington. A huge 50-50 ball won by the Bears. In the middle it goes Casada. Casada up ahead, Logel. Logel kicks it out to Feliciano. Feliciano heads to the middle. Has some space, but a nice job by East Lyme, and we'll get another whistle.
And another timeout for another card. So it's getting really physical in there, Casey. A lot of sticks flying. There's a lot of contact, stick-to-body contact. The officials are not going to let that happen.
Now Emma Locklear heads to the sideline for East Lyme. She's going to get a 2-minute penalty. There's still 39 seconds remaining on the other penalty, Sports Doctor.
Yeah, not only is time a factor, but how about bodies for the Vikings right now? Down 2 right now, and Coach Schneider keeps telling push out, which is going to leave them open a little bit.
Feliciano, huge opportunity here, straight on, waiting for the whistle. Olivia Feliciano lets fly, and a beautiful save. It was blocked before it got to the net. Huge opportunity for the Bears. They could have gone back up 3 with a 2-person advantage.
They need to capitalize on this here. They're up 2. East Lyme's not going to be able to double this ball because it would leave too many players open, but they've got, I don't know how many seconds left of this penalty, but you got to think Stonington's got to at least want to give it one go at the cage before this penalty is over.
15 seconds remaining on one penalty, a minute and a half on the other, so Stonington's going to have an advantage either way. I think they're going to let the first penalty go and try to get one last look here when there's still one person up. Behind the net, Sabadini to Lamb. Lamb makes a rush, spins, in front, Casada, and a save by Rose.
Great save by Rose there. Low shot at her feet.
Transitions to Geller. And we're going to get a whistle as Hannah Geller was impeded by Johnson, so Geller will get a free run, and she can fly. She wants that whistle. She's at the 35 with 6:05 remaining. Here goes Geller. Crosses midfield. Crosses the 40. Crosses the 30. Geller straight up the middle. Looking for an angle. Geller turns. Pivots. Looks for a cutter. In front, and a steal by Johnson. Up ahead to Casada. 5.5 minutes remaining. The Vikings had a chance. Now there's the missed opportunity by East Lyme because Vogel controls for Stonington. Feliciano with it for the Bears. Now Sabadini. 5.5 minutes remaining. 2-goal lead for the Bears. Here's a free run now for Sabadini with 5:22 remaining here and a 2-goal lead. She dishes to Johnson. Johnson to Casada. And Stonington will be very pleased to just take some time off the clock. The penalty on Locklear is almost to an end, and we will be full strength with exactly 5 minutes remaining here in the ball game. A 2-goal Stonington lead. Woviotis.
Left it.
Woviotis had a free run to the goal, and she passed it up. Stonington's so concerned with eating time, they're giving up opportunities at scoring the goal.
Yeah, Coach Medeiros must have given them very strict instructions on that, because Woviotis definitely backed out on that free run to goal. She had a free lane.
Oh, there's a ground ball won by Woviotis, huge for Stonington, and she's just getting hammered right now. East Lyme trying to get the ball back. Harrington just hammered her, and so did Christensen. And so now Woviotis with 4.5 minutes remaining and a 2-goal lead. Johnson, she's been so stellar for Stonington today out of the midfield. Gives it to Lamb. Back up top, Woviotis. She's been stout since they've moved her to the midfield as well. Important move by Stonington, moving Woviotis into the midfield. Here comes Casada. Casada looking to pass. She does to Feliciano. Down to 4 minutes remaining in the ball game. Behind the net, Sabadini. Sabadini, nice defense.
Knocks it down.
Harrington with a defensive play, but it'll stay Stonington ball. Under 4 minutes remaining. On the wing, Feliciano. Back behind the net, it goes to Lamb. In front, Sabadini finds a goal. Beautiful Hannah Lamb in front from Sabadini. And that might be the icing on the cake. With 3 minutes and 40 seconds remaining, it puts the Bears back up by 3, 12-9.
Yeah, great patience there, Casey. I mean, they look pretty calm. They're not rattled by East Lyme's pressure. Good stick-to-stick passing, a lot of movement around the cage, and just looking for that one open player before they're not going to force anything in there. They're not going to take a chance on an errant shot that's going to lead to a quick East Lyme transition. Just a lot of poise and patience by Stonington right now.
So difficult to win a championship. East Lyme trying to win another one back-to-back. So difficult to do that. Championships are precious. And right now, Stonington 3 minutes and 40 seconds away from an ECC Girls Lacrosse Championship. Draw is won, and Woviotis had it, but it bounces now favorably for East Lyme. Fighting for it, Johnson, and out of the pack.
Williams gets it here.
Nice job. Oh, a nice job. Loose ball. Casada looking for it, but no, it's going to be contained by Detweiler. She's being hit. She passes off nicely. Up ahead now on the run.
Stonington looking very confident with their possession here right now.
Feliciano, and there's that whistle. Feliciano, 3 minutes remaining. Clock running. Feliciano will contain it. Oh, dangerous pass in the middle.
Yeah.
It's picked up by Ficini. Ficini with nothing but space in front of her. Crosses the 50, the 40, the 30. Crucial that East Lyme capitalizes. Ficini dishes off to her teammate in front row. Row spins. Can't get any room. Looking for anything. 2 minutes and 47 seconds remaining. And a whistle.
Oh, they've gotten a shooting space call. It's going to mean a free 8-meter position for East Lyme here.
And we know Carly Rowe is so very dangerous from anywhere on the field. Certainly unobstructed from 8 yards. So here comes the opportunity. 2.5 minutes remaining. Rowe trailing by 3 is East Lyme. Rowe runs, fires, and she scores! Carly Rowe brings the Vikings back to within 2. It's 12-10 with 2:22 remaining here in the ball game.
And we're going to be 22 seconds. We're going to be into a stop clock situation every whistle. So, all those setups that take time and all those fouls that are eating time up off the clock for Stonington are not going to be existing anymore. You're not going to lose any time off that clock. So this 2 minutes is going to last an awful long time, Casey.
It's going to be very important for Stonington to have possession, however, when they hit that 2-minute mark.
Absolutely.
They want to run as much clock as they can in that time. Crucial draw here with 2:22 remaining. Woviotis and East Lyme at midfield. Here it comes. That was Ficini.
Throwing it deep there into East Lyme territory.
And it's picked up by Bates. East Lyme with a quick possession. In the middle it goes to Rowe. 2:13. Rowe changes position. Rowe gets hammered to the ground by Woviotis. And we're going to have another call. It's going to be another one, free one for Rowe with 1:57 remaining. Clock is still running, Coach.
Should not be. Oh, yes, because it does not stop until the call's made within the 2-minute time frame. So if the clock was above 2 minutes when this whistle was made, it's going to continue to run.
Huge break for Stonington then. They're getting about 30 seconds off of this clock that they wouldn't have other gotten. Rowe with a chance to bring the Vikings within one. She approaches, she shoots. Oh, and it goes wide.
Deflected off of something there, Casey. I don't know if the goalkeeper got a piece of it or if it was the pipe, but somebody got a piece of that ball.
Ground ball.
Possession
Daisy
here.
Williams gets it ahead to Woviotis. And a huge possession for Stonington. Woviotis, 1:21 remaining. Can Stonington get it out of their own end?
They need to have their help side here come. Cutters back, make sure they can get that ball up the midfield. It looks like they're going to run it through.
Detweiler with the run through the midfield for Stonington. So calmly does that. Double team. She spins, gets the whistle with 1:08 remaining. Stonington will have the possession in their end. She wants to get it into Johnson's hands as soon as the whistle blows.
Yeah.
And she does. Into Johnson's hands. Johnson up top to Casada.
They're going to keep this ball moving. Yep.
Johnson straight ahead. Back out to Lamb. But turnover. And East Lyme will have the possession. Down 2 with 53 seconds remaining. East Lyme desperately needs a quick strike. Harrington takes off. She crosses midfield. Up ahead, loose ball, and a steal by Williams.
Oof.
Loose ball in the middle, controlled by East Lyme. 42 seconds remaining.
A lot of unforced errors here. Tensions are running high out there, Case.
And East Lyme gets the loose ball. Out of the pack with it, Caroline Reel. Over it goes to Harrington. 28 seconds remaining. Running out of time are the Vikings.
Again, Stonington just needs to stay poised here. No fouls. Just keep the ball outside. They can keep him out for just a few more seconds.
Ficini in front, 15 seconds. Ficini spins, shoots, and a save by Alexis Scott, and that's going to do it.
Yeah, that goalkeeper doesn't have to release the ball, although she does. Wow, this is a huge upset.
2 seconds, 1 second, and the Stonington, we're .4. We're really blowing whistles with .4. Well, you're down 2 goals with .4 seconds remaining on the clock. I think we can safely say that there's nothing left to do. The officials blew the whistle with .4 seconds remaining on the clock, which basically just stilted a celebration on the behalf of Stonington Bears. I think if they were smart, they would say that there's nothing left to do in .4 seconds and run it off, but we'll see what they do.
Well, I do think it's a sideline card anyhow if they chose to card the coach, but at this point in the game it's
well, we are now simply just delaying the inevitable. Blow the whistle, and there's your ball game. And now you can celebrate. The Stonington High School Bears have done it. They have upset the East Lyme Vikings, and they have captured the 2018 ECC Girls Lacrosse Championship 12-10. What an effort by the Bears, and the Stonington girls have done it. East Lyme fails to repeat, but a great effort. And the Bears are a happy group of girls right now, and Jeff Medeiros, one happy coach.
It was a great game, Case. Nice, really competitive, well-played game on both sides. Tough.
Now Stonington is the 6th seed in Class S. They will move on to challenge Old Lyme, and that's what's next for them. East Lyme, the 11th seed, has to go to Bacon Academy, travel up to Colchester, and play the 6th seed Bobcats. Sports Doctor, what are you thinking?
Well, I tell you, the raw emotion and the energy from these kids from winning this championship, that's what makes high school sports. I mean, we talk about this all the time, Casey, but these kids, they are amped up, man. Championship going back to Stonington in the ECC.
That's right, Sports Doctor. The Bears have done it. And like we said, these two teams have more to play for. East Lyme in Class M has to play a local familiar face in Bacon Academy. They just recently had to go and play Bacon. They beat them 12-6, and now they get a rematch in the first round of the Class M. Old Lyme will travel to Stonington on Tuesday to play the Bears fresh off their ECC championship. Now, the sports doctor's just hoping he doesn't get another bucket of Gatorade dumped on him like he did when he was earlier interviewing Coach White and the Vikings. But the Stonington girls have captured the 2018 ECC Girls Lacrosse Championship, and they will, along with Coach Jeff Medeiros, collect the championship trophy as it will be awarded to them. And then the sports doctor will grab Coach Jeff Medeiros for an interview. Coach, what did you see today from Stonington that made the difference? 12-10, your final.
Yeah, I mean, time of possession, Casey. You know, not a lot of unforced errors throughout the course of the game. A lot of possession off the ground balls. I'd love to see the stats on the draws. I know they had a lot of wins on those draws, and just really poised, patient play. You know, a lot of times we get anxious in these championship games, and we try to force things and force shots. And Stonington did the job right tonight. They stayed calm. They stayed true to their game plan. And it was clearly to maintain time of possession, to win time of possession over the course of the game. And they did that and executed and waited. They waited for the good shot. There were very few shots, I would say, tonight that were forced or that were poorly selected. They really, you know, worked to get that great shot off and then hustled and just kind of out hustled East Lyme to the ball, winning those ground balls and winning those draws was critical to this game.
Yeoman's effort in the midfield from Kate Johnson, and when they moved Lexi Woviotis up there, those two girls were involved in absolutely everything. Everything ran through them, all the possessions through the midfield, setting up the offense, getting the ball onto the sticks of Sabadini and Casada and Feliciano, all came out of that midfield. And you just heard the name over and over again. Kate Johnson, Lexi Woviotis, of course, Hannah Lamb, you know, the attacker, but the ability to maintain possession. Very strong stick handling from Woviotis and Johnson.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, beautiful stick handling tonight. Not a lot of drop balls by either one of those players. And just, I mean, total team effort. You saw how they moved the ball to maintain possession. You know, it's in the hands of Casada, it's in the hands of Johnson, it's in the hands of Woviotis, and they're putting it in their hands with the confidence that they're going to maintain possession. And those girls did a tremendous job tonight of being able to handle that ball and really limit the amount of turnovers that they had.
Catherine Casada wins the Most Valuable Player Award for the Stonington Bears, and they are the ECC Girls Champion in 2018.
In the CIAC State Tournament. At this time, we would like to present the championship plaque to the Stonington Bears.
And there they come. There's Lexi Woviotis, the captain, coming out to take the trophy. And there's a happy group of girls. Celebrate the Stonington Bears. Girls, you overcame the East Lyme Vikings, the defending champs. And the drive over the bridge tonight is going to be a little sweeter for the Stonington Bears, heading back as champions.
If I can tell you anything about that bus ride, it's going to be loud. It is going to be loud.
The sports doctor has head coach Jeff Medeiros down on the sideline, and a happy group of girls. Wave them in, sports doctor. The Bears are the champions.
Come on in, girls. Come on. Well, Coach, you were here last year, Jeff. You were here last year, and you guys fell a little bit short. You girls want to come behind me? Come right in behind me.
I don't have to ask him twice.
Oh, jeez, here we go.
Oh, sports doctor! Oh!
All right. Listen, you were here last year. You fell a little bit short.
It doesn't give him time to breathe.
What did the year take? What did you guys learn, and the growth of the team this year? You said before the game you like this team.
I do like this team, and we're really gelling right now. We had our issues throughout the season, but it has come together, and we had a key injury yesterday, and I had to move things around and make things happen, and the right girls are in the right spots, and they just played their butts off, and they wanted it. They really wanted it.
You got through a lot of 50-50 balls.
Yes.
You scrapped a lot,
Yes.
and you held time of possession. Some of the keys to victory today.
That was the key to victory today, especially with this team. Ground balls, possession, controlling the clock. We did all of that, slowing down on the offense. Everything we needed to do, we did, and East Lyme's a great team. They've been here every year. They've won the last 11. We knew what it was going to take. We played our butts off, but this is the time of the year to do it, and we in position to do what we needed to do going forward. We're ready.
How does it feel?
It feels great. It really does.
Yeah.
3 years ago, I won a state championship. I didn't win this. Finally, we got this. This is good. This is great.
Good luck riding into the state tournament, Coach, and get a towel and dry
Thank
off.
You know it. Thanks.
All right, thank you, sports doctor. Congratulations to the Stonington Bears. They are the 2018 Girls Lacrosse Champions, and they join the East Line Boys as this year's lacrosse champions in the ECC. Tomorrow night, we switch our attention to baseball. We'll be over at Fitch High School for the ECC Boys Baseball Championship. We'll find out who can take home the crown. But tonight, it's a Bear celebration for the girls and a Viking party for the boys. For the coach, Genituccio, and the sports doctor, Keith O'Brien, as well as all of our folks here at Game Day. Thank you all for tuning in to Championship Thursday in the ECC Lacrosse Championships.